The return of Mario Lemieux to the Penguin lineup here tonight against the Quebec Nordiques. It's been a long time coming, a hard road back for the Penguin captain, but Lemieux will return tonight as the Penguins take on the Nordiques right here in Quebec City. Hello again, everybody. This is Mike Lang, and the Penguins return to action tonight and trying to keep it going against a Quebec team that is last overall in the National Hockey League. They have the poorest record at home, but the big news has to be tonight for the Penguins, the return of Mario Lemieux. He gets back in the lineup after a very hard process of rehabilitation. It was set back early in September during training camp, but he has returned, and he'll be in the lineup tonight, Paul.
That's right, Mike. He's been riding the Stairmaster. He's been riding the bike. He's been doing some heavy skating out there, working with Penguins assistant coach Rick Patterson, trying to get back into shape. He's still not at 100% game shape. He probably won't be for quite some time, but Bob Johnson plans to bring him along slowly and get him used to playing in game conditions once again. And how will he use him? Well, let's take a look at the line combinations. Mario Lemieux will play with Mark Recchi. So John Cullen and Mark Recchi will not be together. Lemieux will play with Recchi on the right and Bob Airey on left wing. John Cullen moves into in between players Kevin Stevens and Scott Young on that second line. Yuri Hrdina on the third line with Yager on the right. You know, that line is a line that Bob Johnson really is excited about, the Bork Hrdina Yager line. Barry Peterson will play center tonight. Randy Gillen will move to left wing. Tony Tanti on the right. The reason for that, Mike, is the fact that Bob Johnson wants a little bit more depth at center ice. He figures if he has that extra center out there in Barry Peterson, that's going to help him in case Mario gets a little tired later on in the game. And we asked Bob Johnson just how much ice time he thinks Mario can give him.
Out there, a lot of times he'll come off the ice probably after 30 or 40 seconds, and I'll make sure on whistles that we'll have him off the ice. But you know, he sees the ice so well that he can certainly change at the right times.
And one other exciting aspect of this, Mike, the fact that Mario is coming out here and playing his first game in front of all the people from Quebec province. So his family, too. His
That's right.
Here
Mom and Dad here and his brother and some folks from Montreal made their way up. But the important thing is, can Lemieux get it going again quickly for the fans? I think he will. Let's sit back, relax, and enjoy it. We'll have it for you in just a moment right here on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so broadly weaving at the twilight last gleaming, whose blood stripes and broad stars through the perilous fight of the rainbow's wee was so gone.
a look at the scouting report for the Penguins and Quebec Nordiques. The Nordiques have given up an NHL high 222 goals. They are last in penalty killing in the National Hockey League. They have not scored a lot of goals either, by the way. Only the Islanders have scored fewer number of goals than the Nordiques, who are 1-7-2 in their last 10, 2-1-2 in their last 5 at home, however. Their top line has accounted for 40% of their team's goals, 50 to the 140. The Penguins 10-10-2 on the road. Starting goaltenders Wendell Young, 1-3-1, a 3.69 goals against average. Ron Tugnut, 9-21-8, a 4.02 goals against average, will be in goal for the Nordiques.
Tom Barrasso out of the Penguin lineup with an infected finger, and the Penguin scratches include Gordy Dineen, Joe Mullen, Jay Caulfield, Brian Trottier, Randy Hillier, Troy Loney, and Gilles Delorme. For the Quebec Nordiques, their scratches Darren Kimball, Everett Santapass, Wayne Van Dorp, the former Penn, Jeff Jackson, Ken Quinney, and Tony Herkes. Referee tonight is Kerry Fraser, the linesman, Mark Paris, and Pierre Champoux, and we are underway. The Penguins and the Nordiques. Penguins decked out in their traveling black uniforms with a gold trim, and the Nordiques steer it to the Penguins in on a automatic icing call here against the Nordiques.
You notice
very quickly.
Bob Johnson starting the line with Yuri Urdina, Yager, and Bork. We talked about that briefly in the open, but the thing that he's excited about is the fact that everybody's talking about how when they come up with Mario Lemieux in the lineup, that's going to make it difficult for them to decide who to check, Mario Lemieux or John Cullen. And Bob Johnson said, hey, you guys aren't remembering that other line, the line with Urdina, Bork, and Yager. He thinks that's the one that could really make a big difference and break a game open for the Penguins, the one that the opposition is going to have to concern themselves with. Right now, they're going to take a seat on the bench.
Frankly, it makes a difference in all the lines, to be honest with you. Just
really
the fact that Lemieux is in the lineup turns the opposition around, because they have to think much more than they normally would have to. And here is the play now in the face-off of the Nordiques end. Moved ahead on the right side to rookie Matt Sundin. Sundin's having a good rookie season, second only to Sergei Fedorov of the Detroit Red Wings in scoring in the rookie race. But Coffey controls the puck now out of the Penguins end. Lay it up left wing to Kevin Stevens. Stevens on the right side to Scott Young. So the Penguins go to a quick change here. Cullen out with Scott Young and Kevin Stevens. And the Nordiques pick it off. Craig Wolanin. Wolanin to the Penguins end. Stood up by Tagliani. Now ridden off his skates. Cullen back to play the puck. Moves it out of his own end and back down to the Quebec blue line. Sean Anderson defensively for the Nordiques, going back to play the puck. He's to the left of Ron Tugnut, who enters the game with a 3.77 goals against average. Anderson steering up down the right side. Stéphane Moret, Guy Lafleur on the ice right now for the Nordiques. Lemieux out here for the pass, trying to take a lead pass from Recchi, and the pass too far. Lemieux gets his first shift of the night, and it's going to be called back as Lemieux touched the puck on an offside play.
Well, it didn't take long for Mario to sneak in behind the defense and wait at the blue line for a lead pass, and Recchi just looked up a little late, didn't get him the puck in time. But that's the one thing that Mario will do. He'll keep that defense honest, and he will keep them spread a lot more back towards their own zone. They'll be backing up a lot earlier with Mario Lemieux out there, the way he likes to get in behind them.
Well, it's interesting because in the first minute and 5 seconds, Bob Johnson already has made 3 line changes. So he's trying to mix it up here very quickly against the Nordiques. Their coach, Dave Chambers. Claude Lucelle apparently will get the assignment tonight of checking Lemieux. And Recchi on right wing can't take a pass, and it's cut off now by Belichick, the Quebec defenseman. Throw it up into the Penguins end. Zalapski went back. He can't control it, and Paul Stanton will. Stand to the left wing for Bob Airy. Crunched hard on a check by Paul Gillis. Mark Vermette. Vermette put it behind the Penguin net. Now controlled by Lucelle. Lucelle looking for someone in front. It went right by Vermette's stick and off the boards. Here's Lemieux back one-on-one against Belichick. Lemieux swings to the left side of the Nordiques end. Pulls up, drop pass, a beauty to Zalapski's there. A shot. It's off the stick of Ronnie Tugnut, the Quebec goaltender. Now grabbed by the Nordiques, and they lay it ahead on right wing to Paul Gillis. He'll dump it off to Lucelle. Cut around the check of Zalapski. Moves to the Penguins end. Drop pass in front to Gillis, and he couldn't quite handle the pass. He tried to shoot it. He fanned on it. Gillis now diving for the puck in the far corner. Bob Airy of the Penguins coming up with it. Throw it in behind his own net. And they jam it up along the boards. Kerry Fraser watches the puck. It's loose. They work on. It comes free. And here with it now is Owen Nolan. And a shot right on Wendell Young. The rebound. And Wendell Young stops that on Claude Lucelle. And the Penguins are a little tentative in their own end right there in trying to get the puck out. It almost resulted in the first goal of the night. The Nordiques had a good opportunity.
Yeah, a perfect centering pass by the Penguins to a Nordique, Owen Nolan. He picked off that outlet pass and walked in on Wendell Young, and he made the save, and the rebound was pushed to the net by Lucelle, and Wendell Young was down without a stick, was able to haul that puck in and hold it against his body. Not a good choice for an outlet pass there. The puck came off the boards, the backboards out in front, and Owen Nolan picked it off and had a great scoring opportunity.
Nolan has only 1 goal in the year, and that came early in the season, October 12th. A highly touted #1 draft choice of the draft overall last year. Has struggled this season to get it going, and moved back behind the Penguin goal now to the faceoff, and Gordy Roberts shouldered on a check, got the puck out of his own end though to center. Randy Gillen lost it to Owen Nolan. He's big, tough, and rough. and he can put it in. At least he did in junior. He had 51 his final year. As we said, it takes a little time, really, as a young player comes in with the Nordiques struggling as they are. It doesn't make it any easier on Ola Nolan. And the puck lifted to the Penguin net, cleared by Wendell Young. Back to center, Barry Peterson looks for it. Tanny Gillen on the wings for Barry Peterson. Now Tanny trying to get in, and we've got an offside call here against the Penguins going to the Nordique zone.
Our Foodland hotshot contestant in the first period is Bruce Heil of North Huntington, Pennsylvania. He's chosen Mark Recchi, $700 worth of groceries in the Foodland jackpot.
And another quick change by Bob Johnson here. He's going to bring on Herdino. Back at center ice with Yager and Bork. 39-year-old Guy Lafleur working the right wing for the Nordiques. Mike Huff on the left side, and Stéphane Morin working center ice. Lafleur apparently now will just play occasional home games for the Nordiques. Not going to play on the road the rest of this year, and limited action at home. They've got some injuries to the Nordiques. Bork trying to get to it. He lost the puck, and now Mike Huff on the right wing can't get around Zalapski. Cut off by Lafleur. Then it goes to Coffey. Outlet pass to center. And back into the Nordiques end. Wolanin feed it ahead. Moray can't come up with it, and it's grabbed now by Phil Bork. Bork's pass to center. There's Herdina, makes a behind-the-back maneuver, gets the puck, shoots it to the net, and Tugnut will make the save for the Nordiques. Off the near corner. Herdina's back in to get it, and Lafleur races in to take it from him. Outlet to center to Mike Huff. Huff's pass, looking right wing, intercepted by the Penguins. Herdina. Wheel it back into his own zone to Coffey, the Penguin defenseman. A right wing delivery over to Peter Taglianetti of Pittsburgh. To Coffey, racing up to the Nordiques end. Got some room down the right wing. Backhand shot, and a good save by Tugnut there. As the doctor moved in and got a good shot off. The Nordiques counterattack. Murray working the right side of the Penguins end. Comes down the slot. His wrist shot. Coffey put his hand up to protect his face in case it deflected up into him, but it never did. And a weak attempt by Herdina to clear. Grabbed by Gusarov, the Russian. And Alexei Gusarov slap into the Penguin net, and it's grabbed by Wendell Young, and he has possession. 16:04 to go in the first period. No score here in Quebec, and we'll return on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Wendell Young sporting a new mask, the Greg Harrison variety. He wanted a paint job with that mean-looking penguin on it. He didn't get it. He was a little upset about it, hoping he's going to be able to have it repainted later. But it took a long time for Wendell Young to get that new mask, about a year since he had it molded to his face.
Well, did he order the penguin on it?
Yeah, he did. He ordered it and didn't get it.
Well, I wouldn't go back to that guy, would you?
Well, you have to. He's the only one who makes them.
Here's Sundin now moving in. A backhand attempt right on the stick of Wendell Young. He makes the save. Sundin over to Joe Sakic, the leading scorer of this club. Sakic to Gusarov down the slot. He's knocked off his skates. And Kevin Stevens picks nail up. Delivers a pass to the right wing to John Cullen. Moving to the Quebec zone to Stevens right in front. Now on the left side to Young, and he can't pull the trigger. Gusarov got back to get a piece of him before he could shoot it. And the Nordiques go the other way. The center, Tony McKegney. McKegney winded back into the Penguins in. Young will leave it for Zarley Zalapski. One thing about this rink, and we've talked about it many times, the puck really hops here and moves quickly up the boards. There's a 2-on-1 developing. Stevens and Cullen. Now drop past Stevens to Cullen, moves to the net. Cullen shoots, and Tugnut makes a glove save on John Cullen. You know what happened there? Cullen just ran out of room. He didn't have the space that he wanted to, and he couldn't cut inside because the trailer coming back would have checked him. And he got in. The big train going in towards that net just didn't give him much room to work with against Tugnut.
Well, the big train was trying to run interference for him on Curtis Leschyshyn. He was just going to the net, and Cullen kind of peeked around Stevens, see if he might be able to catch Tugnut by surprise and use Stevens as a screen, but Tugnut was able to follow the path of John Cullen and make the save. Cullen and Stevens will work well together. You can see them coming down the ice side by side, similar to what Mark Recchi and John Cullen do. So Stevens playing the opposite side. Almost. I mean, he's a left winger, but he looked like a right winger on that shift.
I want to thank all you folks for sending those donations to the Cullen Coat Fund. He purchased one today, and it is a big, heavy jacket. He needed it. It was 40 below here last night. Pretty cold today, too.
Yeah, the boys were all talking about his coat and trying it on. Wendell Young was trying it on to see
the boss man. He's the new boss man. John Cullen, the Hugo boss man. Give me a break.
He's been wearing that stuff for a while.
Well, it's Cullen.
He's got expensive taste, but then again, he's going to be able to afford it.
Classic Cullen. That's what I want to call him. He got his own line. Shot away to the right wing corner of the Penguins end. And Vermette goes in, handled by Gordy Roberts. They dig it off the boards. And the Nordiques have it. The Penguins in. Gillis behind the net to Vermette. The pass was too hard. Directed over. Losell now chases after it. He moves it around the boards. Bob Area of the Penguins trying to find Lemieux. He can't get to the puck. And the Nordiques spin it behind the Penguin net. They try and lay it out in front. Vermette makes a spinny move. Can't connect on that, and laid ahead down by Bob Airy to center ice. Stephen Finn. The Nordiques again dump it away to Penguin territory. They go to a quick line change. It'll be the Penguins carrying the puck out. It's Larry Murphy with a lot of room to the Nordiques blue line. Flip it towards a goal, and Tugnutt stops it. Murphy goes to the bench. The Penguins make a quick change. Both benches right next to one another here on the far side of the Coliseum. Claude Lapointe coming to the Penguin zone. Lapointe handled by Paul Coffey. Coffey moves him on the boards. He goes behind the net. Lapointe working hard. Lapointe with Coffey all over him. Still he goes around with the puck on the far side. And Scott Pearson comes over, the former Toronto Maple Leaf. He deals it down the boards, trying to get his own pass back. Lapointe now ties it up with the skates. We've got a penalty coming up against the Penguins. It might be against Coffey for holding. It's going to be a high stick instead. They look to see who's going to get the penalty. It's going to be Tony Tandy, I believe. 13:47 to go in the first period. There is no score, and we'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Tony Tandy got a little careless with the stick, and he got it up into the face of Scott Pearson, so he takes a seat for high sticking. And the Nordiques go to work on the power play. A lot of talented hockey players on this Nordique team. Scorers, at least you'd think so. And on their power play, certainly they have enough of them, and they can be dangerous.
Now the Nordiques 15th in the league at 17.7 on the conversion rate, and the Penguins penalty killing 14th at 79.5%. Gusarov deals it back into the Penguins end. Young stops it behind the net. Wendell Young 3-3-1 lifetime against the Nordiques. A goals against average of 3.84, and the Penguins drive it down deep into the Nordique zone. We are still scoreless here in the first period. The Nordiques with the first power play chance of the night for either club. And Sean Anderson, the former Capital, gets it to Gusarov. On right wing to Matt Sundin, but he can't get to it. And Zalapski poke it away to the Nordique zone. Tugnutt's going to come out and play the puck. The Nordiques goaltender away from Randy Gillen. And the Nordiques again gain possession. 7 minutes gone on the first period. No score. On the left wing, Joe Sakic now moves his way into the Penguins end. Rolling around the board. Gusarov tried to pinch in and get it. He got it on the near side. And Tony McKegney throw it to the near corner for Matt Sundin. Sundin behind the net to Sakic. Good play. Center in front for McKegney, but he can't find it. Left point to Sean Anderson. Big slap shot coming up. Stick save made. Rebound. Where is it? Gillen's got it up the doorstep. And he clears to the blue line, but not out. Gusarov. Over on the left side to Joe Sakic. Sakic wheel and deal to the left point now to Gusarov. Will he shoot it? No. He goes back left side to Sakic. Right wing pass over to Sean Anderson. Drills and scores. Sean Anderson gets the goal. Matt Sundin is hit not once but twice, and now Bob Airy's going to get another penalty. Now Taglianetti knocked down Sundin after the goal was scored, and then Bob Airy came in and needlessly whacked him. Now the goal scored by Sean Anderson.
Well, remember when Randy Gillen got the puck? Anyway, what I was saying was Randy Gillen tried to clear the puck off the doorstep and didn't get it out. And the Nordiques had another crack at moving the puck around on the power play and eventually cashed in on it. Gillen tried to get it up over the defense and out of the zone, couldn't get it out. He probably could just as easily, I mean, it's easy to second guess him from up here, but he could easily have just pushed it into Wendell Young and frozen it right there, but he just didn't get it out, and the Nordiques were able to take advantage of that.
Sean Anderson gets the goal to be his second of the year. It's a power play goal by the Nordiques. Gusarov will get one of the assists. And Sakic also. So Nordiques have an early 1-0 lead on a power play goal. And here at center is Scott Young. Deals it off the boards into the Nordiques. And, well, certainly one thing for the Nordiques. They have not won more games than they've lost despite scoring the first goal in a game, but it's a whole lot better than when they do give up the first goal, because they won only 5 times this year when they've given up the first tally and lost 24 and tied 4. Now down the right wing, Mike Huff to the Penguins in. Center to front, Guy Lafleur. Shoot it to the net. Stopped by Wendell Young. Rebound in front. Huff shoots and a glove save made by Young. And right now the Penguins in trouble. The Nordiques are smoking right now against the Pens. They got that goal by Sean Anderson on the power play effort. And they've got a little momentum going against the Penguins.
Bob Airy in the box for high sticking, and this just keeps things rolling for the Quebec Nordiques. Huff took a shot, a weak one to the net. Young was leaning, able to get his glove down and make the save. bouncing around in goal, making it look a little bit more spectacular than it actually was. That shot was just a little flipper from Huff in front of the net.
By the way, Bob Airy on the penalty picked it up. The Nordiques on the power play again. Airy picking up a roughing call, I believe. It's 7:36. High sticking.
Yeah.
Penguins shorthanded for the second time in the game. By the way, just to alert our director and producer Doug Kennedy, we're picking up all your commands to the truck, Dougie, on everything you're doing. So be aware of that. And it's makes it a little tough here to get it going. So here's Sakic now, the right wing. Sakic going rink wide with a pass to the left side to Gusarov. Gusarov still in this power play. Anderson will play the center point. Alexei Gusarov down to Sundin, back to Gusarov. To Anderson. Off the Dearborns to Sakic. The Nordiques have given up 8 shorthanded goals on the year. Anderson fires, a save made. And the rebound off the pads of Wendell Young and cleared by the Piz. The Nordiques have outshot the Penguins 10-3 here in the first period. And Gusarov has to go back and settle the puck in behind his own goal. A right wing pass to Matt Sundin. Leave it for Sakic. Push it up the left wing for Anderson. That pass is going to go right to Taglianetti. Peter trying to get a handle on it. He can't. He's hit now from behind by Sundin, who has good size. Chopped away over to Randy Gillen, and the Penguin penalty killer finds an open space, and he clears it all the way to the Nordiques end to take the heat out of a hot kitchen. 20 seconds to go in the Bob Airy penalty. Anderson's pass right to a Penguin. It's Larry Murphy, and the Penguins will kill this penalty. Murphy bounced it up to the Nordiques goal.
Bob Airy in the box. You notice Mark Recchi out there with Randy Gillen killing the penalty.
Gusarov will leave it for Sakic. Spins around. Lost control of it. It goes back to the Nordiques line. And the Nordiques back to take command of it. The penalty is expired now. Bob Airy hurries over to the Penguin bench. Nordiques lead 1-0 here in period number 1. Mark Vermette now steering the puck into the Penguin left wing corner. Murphy going back. Gillis is all over him. Rides him hard to the boards, but Cullen returns. He had a poke check by Losell. Now left in the far corner. The Nordiques continue to forecheck pretty well against the Penguins. Gillis down to Losell. A quick shot. The save made. The rebound. Turning around is Vermette, and he can't pull the trigger. Scott Young. Tap it ahead on the left wing. Intended for Kevin Stevens, too far. Hutchinson trying to get a handle on it behind the net. Can't do it. And Vermette coming with the puck. He left it in center ice, and Coffey of the Penguins goes to his defense partner right now, Paul Stanton. Stanton off to Scotty Young, and the Penguins ramble back to the Nordiques end down the left wing. The Nordiques take it away, and they clear. 9.5 to go in the first period. 1-0 Quebec. Philadelphia has taken a 1-0 lead against Hartford at Hartford. Here's Lafleur, and the Penguins in shooting, deflected off Coffey's stick. And a good thing it did, because Young was able to grab that loose puck with a flower right there in front without that helmet. And I'll tell you, there was a time when it would put fear in anybody standing in front of that shot like Guy Lafleur. He doesn't score. 9:22 to go in the first. And it's Quebec 1, Pittsburgh 0 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
39-year-old Guy Lafleur. His 17th season in the National Hockey League. One of the great right wingers of all time. Cranked one up, and Paul Coffey had a stick in front of it, and it just deadened the shot so that it could roll right to the doorstep, and Wendell Young was able to freeze it. Guy Lafleur, and talking to Jacques Martin today, the assistant coach, said he's just amazed at how hard he works every day in practice. He works just as hard in practice as he does in games, and that would explain why he's one of the great players of all time.
Boy, Losell now to work center ice. And Lemieux's going to come on to handle the draw. They wanted Recchi to do that assignment, but now Mario will have to do it. And he wins the face-off. Young getting the puck over to defenseman Stanton, and out the left wing to Airy, who is hit by Wolanin. Puck deflected back into Quebec territory, and Belichick coming back, and we have an icing call here against the Penguins. Now it's been all Quebec in the first period so far, Paul, but they have a 1-0 lead here against the Penguins. They've had 2 power play chances and cashed in on the one to Tony Tanti. And Anderson was the goal scorer. 2 games this afternoon in the NHL. Montreal beat Buffalo 4-1 at home, and the Bruins took care of Calgary 5-2. That game at the Garden in Boston. Neely, Hodge, Wesley, Lazaro, and Hodge again. Hodge now at 9 goals. What a nice deal that was for the Bruins. In the Montreal game, Keane, LeBeau, Courtnall, and Ewan scored for Montreal. Andrew Chuck for the Sabres, a 4-1 final. Patrick Waugh played well in that game for the Canadiens. Here's Lemieux now on the Penguins end. Trying to slip it ahead. It's cut off. He gets it right back, though. And number 66, his attempted pass to the left side for Recchi. One of the key things, I think, for Lemieux will be an effort to break a tie back rebound, and a shot by Gillis, and that went wide of the net. Penguins giving it up here pretty regularly here in this first period on giveaways. Taglianetti, Coffey had his helmet knocked off. Taglianetti turn it over the right wing to Mark Recchi, and the wrecking ball goes left side to Bob Airy. Comes in against Wolanin. A shot, a good angle save there by goaltender Tugnutt. He came out and played it perfect against Bob Airy. And the Nordiques tap it back to the Penguin line. Pass ahead, it went off Lemieux's stick into the Nordique zone. Wolanin pressured by Bob Airy from behind the net. Here's Recchi trying to make a pass out in front for Lemieux. Can't do that. Recchi to the left point to Coffey, still without that helmet. Coffey now to Bob Airy. Lemieux behind the net. It goes over to the right side to Taglianetti. Slap shot coming up. Save made. Gets his own rebound back. Shoots it again. The save is made. Coffey's there. Hit shot. Tugnutt says no. Rebound. Lemieux can't tee it up. Now Lemieux in the right wing corner. Knocked off his skates. Mark Recchi. He is dumped on the ice by Losell. And the Penguins dig it free. Bob Airy coming towards the net. Put it behind the net to Lemieux. Turns out trying to one-arm it in front. He's knocked off his skates and play goes on. And Lemieux looks a little tired right now. It's a long shift for him. Gillis comes up. Gillis shoots it ahead down the boards into Pittsburgh territory. Well, the Penguins had 3 cracks at it right in front of Ronnie Tugnutt. And he stopped them cold. Pass drilled now to the Nordiques end. Tugnutt off the boards to Yuri Hrdina. Hrdina going to Yager. He comes out, almost had his head down. He got hit. Hrdina, though, gets the pass. Hrdina throw it to the net, and Tugnutt's going to stop that and hold on. Now the Penguins are coming alive here in the last minute and a half. 7:35 to go in the first period. Quebec 1 and Pittsburgh nothing on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Well, I'll tell you, Mario Lemieux, one thing, you talk about endurance, his ability to skate. Well, part of endurance is being able to handle checks, being able to fight them off, being able to bounce back up on your skates when you're knocked down. And he had to be feeling pretty tired at the end of that shift as he dragged himself off the ice. He had been knocked down a couple of times and had to get back up. And Mario certainly is going to be out of breath a few times here tonight as he tries to get back in game condition. It's going to take a while.
And as we said, it is something you can work on day in and day out. You can climb all the stairs and stairmasters and everything you want to do. But when you're playing against the opposition for real, then it becomes a whole new ball game. The intensity level goes up about 4 notches from anything you're used to doing, even pushing yourself all the way. Here's Hrdina back for the Penguins. Looks left wing to Bourque, and it's an offside play against the pin. And it looked to me visibly that Lemieux was tired on that shift and trying to finish up. But the Penguins did have some good scoring chances against Ronnie Tugnutt.
You know, it's kind of ironic, but here's Lemieux out here tonight, and we noticed behind the net that Claude Losell was shadowing him practically behind the goal. And Losell was always one of the better checkers against Mario, and he was playing for the New Jersey Devils. Anytime that the Penguins played against the Devils, Losell gave Mario about as much trouble probably as anybody in the league, with the exception of Jan Eriksson and perhaps also to an extent Lucien Deblois when he was sharing that duty with Eriksson with the Rangers.
Cullen on board with Stevens and Scott Young, and the Nordiques again wrap it back into the Penguins end. It goes behind the goal. Olen Nolan overskated. And the Penguins have it. They're in pass by Roberts coming over to the Nordiques, and they have it. Sakic put it in front of the net, and Larry Murphy clears that away from the goal mouth area. But the Nordiques continue to put good pressure on. They've checked well in the first period. Randy Belichick in deep on the play. Scott Young hammers him with a shoulder check, and the Penguins have it, and they clear it out. Cullen paid the price on that as he got the puck back to center as the Nordiques step right into it. And it's center ice, corralled now by Larry Murphy. Good lead pass to Cullen to the Nordiques end. Wheel and deal shoots, and a good save by Tugnutt there off his right pad. Picked up by Scott Young in the near corner to Stevens. Behind the net to John Cullen. Cullen looks, he comes to the right of the goal, comes all the way to the near side, drop it over to Scott Young. Young pulls back, looks, wheels and deals. Scott Young of the Penguins comes out now, put it in front of the net for Stevens, knocked away. Young gets it back. He's there, his shot, save made, rebound, and that's knocked away by the Nordiques. Boy, Scotty Young had a backhand attempt there, but Tugnutt very sharp here in the first period for the Nordiques. On the left wing boards, the Nordiques take it in, but Murphy breaks up that attack and leads it up the left side to Cullen. Let's see how much he has left on this shift. Cullen near board. They give him some room. He tried to turn it over now to Scott Young. The whistle sounds. What happened? Too many men on the ice. Or are we going to get a call back? No, they're going to bring it all the way back. The net is off its moorings and the Penguins in. Well, it took a long time. The fans were reacting. I wasn't sure what they were acting about. But we were watching the play, too, and it took the referee some time to spot it. 1-0 Quebec on the Penguins Hockey Network. We are back to live action. Sean Anderson controlling the biscuit now. Throw it ahead back to center, and the Penguins intercept, and Randy Gillen softly sends it back to the Nordiques end. That's going to be stopped here on an offside call against the Penguins. Well, the shots now getting a little closer. 14-10 in favor of the Nordiques.
The Penguins' shots have come in flurries. When they get one, they seem to get 3 or 4 in rapid succession, but Tugnut's been tough. Barry Peterson in the lineup tonight. Almost like an insurance policy. Another center out there for taking face-offs, and Bob Johnson aware that Mario could get tired later in this game, and he wanted to make sure he had another center in the lineup.
Now Peterson will center Gillen and Tandy now against Stéphane Moret with Lafleur and Cuff. Lafleur on this season for the Nordiques has scored 6 times. The puck moved back to Penguin real estate. Zalapski rolls it over to the left of his own net and passes the head down to Gillen, who dumps it back into the Nordique zone. Tugnut stops it, shoot it up the boards, and Mike Huff coming up with it. Huff had it kicked away by Gillen. Here's Barry Peterson trying to find somebody to pass to. There's a man open right side. He can't get it to Paul Stanton. The Penguins whacking up the boards, though, and they go in after it. Can't come up with the puck. Moran shoots it to the blue line. Stanton drills it right back into the Nordiques in. This will be a delayed offside. The Nordiques will fire it ahead of center. Well, Lennon shot that one so hard. Went up into the Penguins in. He wanted to get off the ice, apparently, and that's what they do. The Nordiques make a change. Zalapski. Soft little pass over to Paul Stanton. Crank up a big slap shot. He turns and goes to the bench. And it comes all the way back quickly to the Penguin line. See how fast puck moves here in this building? I mean, it's just off the boards and right back in your own end before you can turn around. You've got to be very alert to that. And the Nordiques had the Stastny brothers here. It was absolutely unbelievable how fast they could turn a game around on a counterattack. Lemieux in front to Barberi, and he came on it. The Nordiques in. Coffey right side down to Taglianetti. A shot right on, and Tugnut down low to make that save. Barberi's got a little fire in his eyes here in this first period. He's playing pretty tough, the Penguin left winger. 4:23 to go in the period. 1-0 Quebec on the Penguins Hockey Network.
In hockey, Ron Tugnut, goaltender of the Quebec Nordiques, who has now started 26 of the last 27 games. Nordiques are averaging about 40 shots a game against, so Tugnut always has a lot of work.
And in behind the Quebec goal, dumped off of the near wing. Nordique Steve Finn leaves it at center. Lemieux got the puck, but he gave it right back to Finn. But the Penguins steal. And here's Recchi to the right side. Nordiques in a wrist shot right on. Save made by Tugnut. He pulls right into over by Recchi. And a penalty coming up here. It's going to be a slashing call, and I think it's going to be against the Nordiques. I think the Nordiques will get a slashing call here that forced Mark Recchi into goaltender Ron Tugnut. And Steve Finn is headed over to the penalty box. 4:04 to go in the first period. A 1-0 Quebec lead, and Recchi checks on Tugnut to see if he's all right. We'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Stephen Finn, who was a teammate of Mario Lemieux's when they played together at Laval for the Boisson, will pick up the slashing call. It was more or less a little cross-check as he bumped Recchi, and he ended up landing on top of Tugnut. More like a cross-check than a slash, but they call it slashing on the penalty minute leader of the Nordiques, Stephen Finn.
Penguin power play, their first chance of the night, and dumped off the boards with the Nordiques to center. Murphy and Coffey the point men, with Cullen, Recchi, and Stevens to start the power play. You would expect Lemieux maybe to see a little time on the power play tonight. Here's Cullen going back on the near side of the Nordiques in, looks for a man cutting for the net. Instead goes to Murphy, right wing circle, shoot it wide of the goal. Off the left side, Coffey over quickly. Put it down the near boards to Cullen, but it went by him. Stevens and Cullen now race in on Wolanin, trying to overtake him, and Stevens has it, comes out in front. A backhand attempt, missed the goal. Recchi along the far boards. He has possession. Recchi, the Penguins, looks right side over to Larry Murphy. Down the quick at a Coffey, back on the right side of Recchi. Recchi pushes it in the corner for Kevin Stevens. Stevens to the wrecking ball. And Recchi of Pittsburgh looks to the right point. He has Murphy, who skates over idly center point area. Goes to Coffey down the left side. Back to Murphy, wide open, a slap shot. Score! Deflected in by Stevens, and the Penguins have tied the game in one. Oh, look out, Loretta. Murphy got it right down low where you wanted, and Stevens got the stick on it. And Tugnut was helpless. The Penguins score a power play goal and tie the game.
And that gives Kevin Stevens the lead in terms of goal scoring in the Penguins. His 26th of the year. He just got that stick down. It looked like it was going to be a clear lane to the net, and it was for Murphy, but Stevens right there to get a piece of it. Tugnut would have been easily able to make that save on Murphy had Stevens not been there to deflect it. But just a beautifully executed play by Murphy and Stevens. Nobody near Kevin Stevens. He just got that wand down and steered it into the net past Tugnut.
So the Penguin left winger Stevens cashes in. The Penguins tie the game at 1 apiece. And Stevens is 26th of the year for Murphy and Coffey. And the puck moved to the right side of the Penguins here. Owen Nolan now tied up by Phil Bourque of the Penguins. Still working in the corner. Frazier says, keep working, guys, and they do. They muscle one another, and now the whistle sounds, and they call for the face-off outside of the Penguin line. They feel the Nordiques for the team that dead in the play, if you will, with 2:52 to go in the period. We are tied at 1. Now Kevin Stevens, well, I'll tell you what, you don't see a player usually that much room both ways. I mean, with Murphy as much room as he had at the point, he had all day. He could have set it up, and then as Stevens walked out in front, he just stood there and got the stick on it, and Audie put it in. Up to center ice. Yager of the Penguins losing the puck to Claude Lapointe, and Lapointe gave it right back to Zalapsky of Pittsburgh. On the left wing, Hrdina gets the mail. He'll deliver a pass left wing to Bork. Breaks in deep to the Nordiques end. Goes behind the net. He's knocked down to the play, and the Nordiques will get another penalty. And Quebec gets its second minor of the period. And the Pens here, they spotted the Nordiques the early play. And now Lemieux will come out here and work for the Penguins on the power play.
Lashyshin will take a seat. One of the many first-round draft picks of the Quebec Nordiques. Bork just blew by the man at the blue line. That was Gusarov, and then he just swung in behind the net. He had designs on trying that wraparound. As he was coming around, he was knocked down by Lashyshin. Hooking the call.
Well, the Pens scored on their first power play chance, as did the Nordiques, and now this will be the Penguins' second opportunity. And Lemieux will come out here, and he'll be paired on a front line with Yager and Hrdina. And Coffey and Murphy will stay on the points. Face off in the Nordiques end.
Elaine Hammer of Pittsburgh picks up $100 on our Ironman Advantage contest. Compliments to the goal by Kevin Stevens.
Because it was hammer time, that's why.
That's right. And Nevin Robinson of Pittsburgh is our contestant now. Iron City Beer can give away $100 here if the Penguins can score on the power play.
Good old hammer time. And it'll be Murphy leaving the puck for Hrdina now at the Penguins in up to center to Yager. Yager moving the puck down the left wing boards, deep in behind the Penguin, or the Quebec net, and Belichick slams it off the boards. I'm looking up front here. Neither Hrdina or Yager played with Lemieux at all last year. And Murphy did all that. So you've got all but Coffey, players that have never played on the power play with Lemieux. Hrdina steps up, going to the Quebec end down the left side of Lemieux. Over to Hrdina in the left wing corner. Back over to Mario. Left wing boards, halfway up, center point, down to Coffey, back to Lemieux there, and shoots it, and he missed the net. And good velocity on that shot. Here's Murphy down the boards. Couldn't get it over to Hrdina, and the Nordiques take it away. And shoot it back to Penguin real estate.
The last time Murphy and Lemieux were on the ice in games conditions together was in the Canada Cup. Lemieux scored the game-winning goal.
Coffey now weave his way to the Nordics center. Recchi, and he fanned on that shot partially. Lemieux stays on the power play with some changes to Coffey left point. Now Mario trying to get to it on a pass, put it in front here. Stevens got a man there, Recchi, and he couldn't quite get it through to him. The Nordiques, Joe Sakic steals. Sakic throw it up the left wing boards. After it'll be Claude Lapointe, and Young comes over to take the puck. The Penguin goaltender gets it to Coffey. 40 seconds to go in the penalty. Lead it left wing to Kevin Stevens in a 1-1 tie. Stevens off to Cullen. He has room in the Nordiques in. Drop it back to Coffey. He's wide open. No, he went back to Cullen. Shoots it. Save made by Ron Tugnutt. Boy, Coffey had all the room in the world to shoot that one. He didn't, though. Coffey in front of deflection goes right up Tugnutt. Rebound Stevens. Stopped by Tugnutt, and he falls on top of the biscuit and keeps it out of there. Well, the Penguins working hard to the Nordiques in on the power play, but Ron Tugnutt coming up tough there.
Johnny Cullen is really a sneaky player at times out there. He got a great shot off earlier. Then he sets up Coffey, who shot one wide of the target. He was trying to pass it down low, and he ended up putting it off the stick of Sakic, and it went right to the net. And Stevens had a chance on the backhand, but it was stopped by Tugnutt. Kevin Stevens also a force out here for the Pens right now on the power play.
Well, the first attempt on Tugnutt went off his own defenseman, Steve Finn, and almost deflected in by him. Losell now the assignment against Cullen with 24 seconds left in the Quebec penalty. Penguins and Nordiques tied at 1 here. Late in period number 1. 54 seconds left. Cullen's waved out. Going to be Recchi on to handle the draw against Losell. Zalapsky and Young will be the point men. Off to Scott Young. He has the play over to the right point to Zalapsky. Gave it right away to Paul Gillis. The Nordique penalty killer. He should be able to feather it through to the Penguins in, and he does, and that should just about kill it. Zalapsky returning. Game tied at 1. Cullen has a final rush coming up. He is hit by Gillis. Bounces off that check, though. Dumps it over to Recchi. Down to Cullen. Nordiques in. Back to Recchi. Cutting for the net. Makes a move in front for Young. He never expected that pass. It went right by. Recchi up the right wing boards. It comes in front. Is shot. And that's stopped by Tugnut. Stevens and Belichick get involved in a big booming shot by Cullen. Stevens now 4 men on him. Kevin Stevens fighting them all off. And Cullen whacking Gillis from behind. Well, Stevens taking on the whole Quebec team. He's doing a pretty good job of it, too, with all those guys.
He is the true definition of a heavyweight, Kevin Stevens.
Now, they're all taking whacks at him, and he wouldn't go off his skates, and he just kept bouncing away off hits and banging people back.
Johnny Cullen has had a lot of shots here in the first period. You know, they talk about Cullen not shooting enough, and yet he has more shots than Mark Recchi coming into this game. 124, and he's taken at least 4 in this period, I think, to count them, but we'll see at the end of the period how many he's taken. But he had a great opportunity here at Tugnut, moving across on his knees to make the save. Tugnut has been outstanding here in the first period.
Well, we have just 27 seconds to go in the period. And we'll have no penalties issued at all here, as the face-off will be in Quebec ice, and Cullen on the ice right now with Recchi and Phil Bourque. Oh, Stevens is going to get a penalty. 1933, Stevens. Roughing call, but it's also one against the Nordiques. And we'll have those for you. They're coincidental minors, and up to center ice. And here the Nordiques trying to cruise into the Penguins in, and we have an offside play. What they did was send them into the locker rooms with 18 seconds left. See if you can get the other penalties, Taggy. Stevens has scored the Penguin goal.
Gillis and Stevens both pick up roughing.
Gillis, okay.
Gillis.
1933 the time. Here this draw outside of the Penguin line. Grabbed by the Nordiques, who will play it back to their own blue line area. Belichick gets it now in the far wing. Dump it away to Penguin ice. 8 seconds to go. We still want to give it up here needlessly, and the time ticking off, and the Pens won't do that. The Nordiques hoping to do the same thing and come out of this with a 1-1 tie, and that will be the situation. So a pretty good period of hockey for both clubs. At times the Nordiques owned the first half of it. Thought the Penguins came back and had the better of the play in the second half. And we played one. If you like wide open hockey, we saw it here. The 31 shots in the first period and a 1-1 tie. We'll be back in a moment here on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Find out that Robbie Brown has scored a goal for the Hartford Whalers tonight, his 16th of the year. And the guy that the Penguins got in exchange for Robbie Brown, Scott Young, certainly has not been disappointing to the Penguins. Played well, and he's the subject of tonight's back-checking the pen. The Colisée in Quebec, where the Penguins and Nordiques are tied at 1 after 1 period of play. Time for our NHL 5-star update. And just as an aside to the piece you saw on Scott Young, where we were talking about that product that is used to erase the logos from sticks. It's called Erase. And interestingly, the fact that they have to pay $10,000, the manufacturers, to the league in order for their logo to be displayed on the ice, basically means that what happens is the equipment managers pay more money for their equipment now. So that really even though the league is getting the money from the manufacturers, if you talk to the equipment managers, they'll tell you that that increase is just being passed on to the equipment managers in the league. So they're just paying more money for the equipment now than they used to pay. And it doesn't make the manufacturers very happy that they have to pay the $10,000, but that's the cost of doing business if you want your logo displayed in the National Hockey League. Speaking of logos, a lot of them switched. Or players at least are switching logos, as there have been some trades in the National Hockey League over the last week or 10 days. Toronto traded Paul Fenton again. He is going to be endorsing luggage soon, and John Kordic to the Capitals for future considerations, but Fenton never had to put on the Capital uniform. He was traded to the Calgary Flames for defenseman Ken Sabourin, and Sabourin had been playing quite a bit for the Flames at the beginning of the year, had not been playing more recently, but the Capitals add another man to their blue line to go along with Al Iafrate. Ken Sabourin now a Washington Capital, and Paul Fenton is now playing for the Calgary Flames. Well, Bernie Nichols is going to be out 3 to 4 weeks with a shoulder separation. He had a little run-in with Randy Wood the other night in a game between the Rangers and Islanders. Wood had knocked Nichols down. They kind of collided, first of all, at the blue line, and then Wood went over and knocked Nichols down, pulled his legs right out from under him, and he landed on his left shoulder, and that's when he separated his shoulder. Then he got up and with his right hand punched Randy Wood in the back of the head. So Bernie Nichols then went to the bench. They worked on his shoulder and found out that he had a separated shoulder, so that's not good news for the Rangers. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks thanks to Randy Wood. Don Maloney, speaking of the Islanders and the Rangers, is now a retired hockey player. He has decided to hang him up after scoring 214 goals, 350 assists, 765 career games in the National Hockey League. He's going to work in the front office for the New York Islanders. Joe Sorella has been traded by the Quebec Nordiques, as you probably heard, of the New York Rangers for right to defenseman Aaron Miller, another young player that the Nordiques hope will come along and make them a stronger team in the future. And the Vancouver Canucks finally traded the streak. Petri Skriko has gone to the Boston Bruins, scored a goal for the Bruins, in fact, in one of his first games. He's a second round choice, excuse me, in 1991 or 92. So Petri Skriko now a Boston Bruin. And that's the trades. That's the story around the National Hockey League up to the minute. And we'll return to Quebec City in just a moment with the Penguins and Nordiques tied at 1 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
The Penguins and the Nordiques are tied at 1 apiece. And a reminder to you that you could have a chance at the new Ecobank Scoro contest held at every Penguins home game. 2 lucky fans compete to win exciting prizes, sponsored by Ecobank. Ecobank's money tree can help you a lot of different ways. And you youngsters 16 and under, the Food Line Boys and Girls of Winter Club is at it again. And kids 16 and under who are members of the club are eligible to purchase tickets to a Penguins game at 1/2 the price. So if you're not a member already, just register in person at any local Food Line store. Go with the music. Thank you. 1-1 here in the intermission. We'll be back with the second period momentarily on the Penguins Hockey Network. Nordiques opened the scoring at 7:36 of the first period. Sean Anderson with his second of the campaign from Gusarov and Sakic. And Anderson simply beat Wendell Young on the short side, just inside the pipe, and a power play goal to make it 1-0. Penguins then countered. They had a power play effort of their own at 16:47. They had a lot of room to work with. Coffey getting the puck to Larry Murphy, and he had a lot of time to let it go right down low on the ice where you want it for that man in front, and way out actually high in the slot area was Kevin Stevens, and he got the blade down and deflected it in, and the Penguins tied the game. 17-14, the Nordiques outshot the Penguins, and our hot shot contestant is
Murdy Riley of Ambridge, and Paul Coffey is the hot shot. $800 worth of groceries in the jackpot.
Penguins move left to right here to begin the second period. Sakic on with Matt Sundin and Tony McKegney. And the Penguins countering here with Herdina, Yager, and Bork. Rip back into the Penguins in along the near side. Mario Lemieux returning to the Penguin lineup tonight for the first time. It's the final game of last season, and Yager now coming down into the Nordique zone. Carrying that puck in. Anderson overpowers him. He left the puck over Herdina. Here he looks. He tried to shoot it to the net. That's blocked by Wolanin, the Nordiques defenseman. Loose behind the goal. Bork of the Penguins. Throw it to the right wing circle. Yager's after, so is Bork, and Bork shoots it, and he just missed the net. Bork going for it. Good shift so far by this unit. Coming out to start period number 2. They put good pressure on the Nordiques in behind the Quebec goal, and finally work free to Wolanin. And the Nordiques blue liner goes rink wide to the near side for Sakic. There's Sakic. Going to leave it in the Penguins end. Sundin went after it behind the net to Tony McKegney. But Bork moves over to get it from him, and the Penguins counterattack. And lead pass to Paul Coffey. Right to the Nordiques end. Goes to the left wing boards. Pulls up. Feather through to Yager, and he gets a shot away, and the stick save made by Ron Tugnut. Penguins want to make a line change here. Bring out Lemieux's line with Bob Aries working on the left wing and Recchi on the right side. The Nordiques so carried to the Penguins in, and they are offside.
Dave Chambers, the coach of the Quebec Nordiques, last year an assistant under Pierre Paget with the Minnesota North Stars. Paget hired to be the general manager of the Nordiques, and he used to sing the praises of Chambers last year. He told me one time in the hallway in Minnesota that he'd love to see Dave Chambers get a job as a head coach in the league, and he had no idea, of course, at the time that he would be able to be a GM and hire him and have that dream come true for Dave Chambers. He's a very successful coach at the amateur level.
Yeah, Lemieux has Losell again as his shadow. Up and Mark Vermette. Vermette, the right winger, on the line. And the Pens Lemieux wins the draw. Getting the puck to stand back in Penguin ice to Zalapski. And the Z-man who leads the Penguins in the plus-minus department at a +20. Actually among the top 6 or 7 now in the league in that department. Ripped back into the Nordiques in by Pittsburgh. Bob Airey went after left wing boards down to Lemieux. Over to Recchi. Wrist shot right out. Score! The wrecking ball gets it by Tugnut, and the Penguins take the lead 2-1. And yes, 66 is back. He just set up the wrecking ball, and the Penguins have the lead, 2-1. Oh, hallelujah, Hollywood.
Yeah, Mario Lemieux's name is back on the score sheet. Came out of the corner. The guy draped on him. Got it out to Recchi, who shot it past Velishchek and off Tugnut. And Tugnut looked exactly like he was swimming in the crease, looking for that puck. He was doing the breaststroke, trying to find the biscuit, the pearl, but it was in the net.
So the Penguins mark Recchi. Ties Stevens now. Both men with 26 goals on the year. Lemieux will get an assist. And his first point for the Penguins this year, and Bob Airy after it. Back in the Penguins in, and Airy throws it ahead to center ice to Mark Recchi. And Recchi moving back to the Nordiques blue line. Left side over to Bob Airy. Comes in to get a man in front. Zalewski, and he couldn't quite deflect it in. Penguins come out here really fired up to begin period number 2. Lemieux's pass intended for Recchi. It all started with a Herdina shift from the Penguins Lemieux line, and picked it right up. Let's see if they can keep it going. Lemieux now to Stanton. This pass way too far for Recchi. Cut up with the Nordiques. They lead it back into the Penguins in, and Stanton will take control of it. Stanton to Recchi, lets it deflect off his blade. Lemieux looking for the puck. Well, Lannon got a stick tied up. Lemieux cruises in deep, but the Nordiques taken. Lemieux wants off the ice. He'll wave to come to the bench. And now Scott Pearson. Attempted pass broken up. Pearson gets it right back into the Penguins in. Pearson shoot it back in behind the Penguin goal. Scott Pearson, the Maple Leafs #1 draft choice a couple of years ago, has it on the far side, involved in that big crate. Here's Recchi still on. He wants to get up here. Sean Anderson took it away and leads it back into the Penguins in. Murray coming to the Penguins in. Backhand shot, and he just shot it up the side of the goal with the pens all over it. Cody Roberts looks for a stick. John Cullum was kind of a change of lines there for the Penguins, and they almost got caught on the situation. Now back into the Penguins in, and Young throws it ahead up the left wing to Randy Gillen. Gillen looking right wing to John Cullen. Instead it goes to Scott Young. Young moves in deep to the Nordiques in. Drop pass back to Cullen. Off a leg. And work back to center. Scott Pearson involved in that trade that sent 3 players to the Maple Leafs. And on the move now are the Nordiques now, cutting back down the left wing. Sakic into Pittsburgh ice. Nice move on the right side. A shot on a backhand attempt. That was blocked by Gordy Roberts. Sakic off the boards. Has it again. Wheel and deal. And he turns to throw it up. He's got a little moves like Denny Savard had when he was a member of the Chicago Blackhawks, Joe Sakic. And he's got a brother playing junior hockey. He's supposed to be a terrific player also. Belichick left point, a shot. Now flicked it off a Penguin. Went wide of the goal. And the Nordiques put a little pressure on the Penguins now here in the second. They're deep into Nordiques territory. And Gusarov gave it away to Barry Peterson. On the right wing will come to Tony Tanny. He steps into the Nordiques in. Turning, a little drop pass over to Coffey, who went in deep in the play, looking for the pass. Gillen's got it in front of Peterson. He shot it up the post. Oh, he had a great chance there. One-on-one against Tugnut. And he simply cut the pipe to the left of the Nordique goaltender.
He had more time to get that shot away than he realized. He hurried it a bit.
Sakic now cuts his way to the Penguins in. They just go in to win. Claude Lapointe. Lapointe centers for Owen Nolan. Trying to shoot it. He can. He turns around. Passing now to Gusarov. And his shot blocked by Bob Airy. It's a little sloppy right now for both teams. Sakic trying to get around Peterson. Peterson reached in and knocked it off his stick. And Sakic gets it again. Sakic off the near boards. Tackling it. He ties him up and allowing the Penguins to take control of it. Canny will skate to center. Turn around by Lapointe. And races to the bench as the Penguins try and go to a quick line change here. Trying to get Herdina's unit back on. It goes to Yager. He's back at his own blue line. Turns and goes the other way with those big wide strides into the Nordiques in. Tried to split the defense, and they poke check it off his stick. Stephen Finn around the boards. And Matt Sundin will be the first man there. Coffey wants to get off the ice to allow Zalewski on, and he does that. That's why he did not go for that loose puck on the far side, and it's cleared away. We've got teams in the midst of line changes here. It has been rather confusing here for both clubs the last couple of minutes. Zalewski down the left wing trying to get to the Nordiques in. Session knocked it away, and he will draw it down to the Penguin zone. Wendell Young put it around the near side. McKechnie throws it around the horn to the right wing corner. Penguins can't get it out. And the Nordiques have it. Losella shot. Stop. Rebound. Where is it? And Young has that puck somewhere under his legs. The Nordiques almost tied the game. It's been a funny period. The Penguins came out really putting pressure on, but now they've been caught line changes here, and they've been a little confused. 2-1 the Penguins lead. We'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Now Wendell Young able to stop Loisel. And Sundin cutting into the crease, almost jammed it underneath Wendell Young, but somehow he kept it out of the net underneath his pads.
Well, a 1-1 tie here in Quebec. 14:30 to go in the second period. Loisel against Recchi. And the Nordiques have it, and the Penguins in. They shoot it down the slot, intercepted by Larry Murphy, the Penguin defenseman, up to Recchi with some room. Down to Lemieux, into the Nordiques in, down the left side. Trying to come in and pass it over to Recchi around the goal. It's cut off with the Nordiques, and they go the other way. Gillis steps into the Penguins in. Drop pass to Loisel. Loisel with a wrist shot. Stop. Penguins will turn and come back on the counterattack. And Recchi, with a burst of speed, looks for 66, and he's got him into the Nordiques in. Lemieux down the slot. Looks, put it in front. Deflected in. The Penguins have scored another goal, and they lead 3-1. As Lemieux sets up Bob Airy. Oh, buy Sam a drink and get his dog one, too. Bob Airy gets the goal.
Well, Mario had to go up and down the ice a couple of times on that shift, and his second time down, you could see just gaining more confidence, wanting to carry that puck, wanting to carry players with him. And he threw it to the net. He drew two Nordiques over his way, and Airy, as usual, going to the net and ended up in it with the puck.
Here's Lemieux now setting up Airy as he cut in towards a goal, and he just deflected it in by Tugnut. So Lemieux is assisted on both Penguin goals here in the second period. And for Bob Airy on the year, it'll be his 12th.
I love how Bob Airy goes to the net. He's something else.
Orlando now on the right wing over to Guy Lafleur. Lafleur finding Mike Huff on the left wing side. Good pass down the slot. Murray shooting right on Young, and he makes the save. All the Nordiques with a great chance there to come right back within one. But Stéphane Murray could not get it by Wendell Young, and he'll never have a better chance than that in this game, I don't believe. The goal by Bob Airy is 12th at 5:57 from Lemieux. There may be another assist on that goal also, and we'll double check on it.
Be Recchi, I would think.
Murray really had a good chance there.
He sure did. Shot it right at Wendell Young. Yep, Recchi gets the other assist on the goal by Bob Airy.
So let's recap again. Recchi at 131 from Lemieux and Airy from Lemieux and Recchi. And the line's responsible for 2 Penguin goals here in the second period. And Gillen on the draw, working out here on the left wing on a line with Peterson and Tanti. Lafleur winded up the boards, back in behind the Penguin net. To the left of the goal, Coffey trying to work it out of the zone, but he couldn't do it. That comes off the boards now and hops back to center. John Anderson gave it away to Taglianetti, and he drills it up ice. This could be an icing call against the Penguins, but Tugnut's going to play the puck, and that'll wave it off around the right boards to Guy Lafleur. Murray takes his pass off a Penguin stick and right into the Penguins in, but an offside call against Quebec. And it's time to take a break, and we'll do that right now with a 3-1 Pittsburgh lead. We'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
You earlier just finished his check and bumped him, and Mario, just like a viper, just snapped back with a stick and whacked him across the shoulder with it, like he just was waiting for Huff to take a shot at him. It'll be interesting to see what players and who is out there knocking Mario Lemieux around in his first few games back.
Well, he's fair game. I mean,
yeah.
He's playing the game again. So here's Yager. As long as it's needless, and Yager now to the right wing corner. Penguins lead 3-1 here in the second. And off to Yuri Herdina. Poked off his stick around to the left wing corner. This line, I think, really ignited the Penguins to begin the second period with a good shift, and they've kind of carried it over. They've been in control of it for the better part of it, and now the Nordiques handle the biscuit. Steve Finn will turn it up to center ice to Tony McKegney. Back to Sundin. His off wing left side. Works well from both sides, though, to Sundin. European players have a great ability to work both wings. And here is Yager. He'll slip it back to center. Interesting that the Penguins working out here with a 3-1 lead in Quebec. And as I think we've told you before, the Nordiques have the worst record at home of anybody in the National Hockey League. They've won only 5 times. They center, though, and the Penguins in. On the right wing boards, it comes over to Wolanin, now to Sackey. Joe Sackey pushed the brakes on. He gave it right to Lemieux in the slot. The Penguins push it ahead to Mark Recchi. Recchi back to Lemieux, and Mario now coming to the Nordiques end down the right side. Lemieux looks, going to shoot it. It was blocked by Belichick. Back in front, loose puck. Bob Airy can't slam it in, as Tugnut held that out. You know, I talked earlier at the outset, Paul, about Lemieux coming on. His presence alone just commands respect, and they back off and give him that room, and it opens things up for everybody. And it is interesting how he's able to do that. Just by him handling the biscuit, handling the puck, it creates a whole new ball game.
Mark Recchi gave him the puck, and you can see people backing in and closing in on him, and then he just kind of dangles for a moment and tried to crank one up. Velishek got the stick down to block the shot, and almost ended up in the net anyways. It came off the boards. Bob Airy trying to shovel it underneath Tugnut. I asked Lemieux about his timing, and you know, one way to find out how's Lemieux shooting the puck, so talk to goaltenders. Wendell Young said pretty obvious. He's firing it again.
I tell you what, the first day he came back to practice, remember when that was in, I watched him fire the puck, even when he wasn't in shape, and he was doing it pretty loose, and he was shooting there, and I said he could even go tonight if he had to. I mean, if he had to play. And
well, those hands,
it was unbelievable, you know, and the hands were absolutely phenomenal. We've got an icing call against the Nordiques. 11:46 to go in the second period. Penguins lead 3-1. Philadelphia trailing Hartford now in the second period 2-1.
If I'm counting correctly, Mike, there are 9 first-round picks in the Nordiques lineup. One of them is Owen Nolan, taken first overall from Cornwall this past year. 2 of the top picks in the draft this past season, of course, playing in this game here tonight. Nolan, first overall, and Jaromir Jagr, taken 5th overall by the Pens.
Detroit leads St. Louis 1-0. At St. Louis, the Blues beat up Detroit last night in the Motor City 9-4. Toronto leads Chicago 1-0. That game in the first period at Chicago. And here is 3-1 Pittsburgh, and Scott Pearson now stepping up to the Penguins in. A wrist shot that'll sail wide of the goal. Off the boards. Tapped in behind the net, and Pearson's after it again, number 22. Moving the puck on the near wing for Mark Vermette. He's handled by John Cullen. Young taps it off the boards, using it like an indoor soccer player to try and move it around, but can't get it out. The Nordiques have it. They center, comes off down to the center point of Velishek. Shoots one, and he missed the net. Young was knocked down. On the play, the Nordiques come out of the shoot and score. They scored right there, I believe. No, it didn't. It hit the post. It hit the post. The Nordiques think they have themselves a goal, I believe, but referee Kerry Fraser watched the play. It went by Young. It went to the right of his shoulder and then hit the post. It came right back to him. What a break that was for the Pens.
I believe it was Pearson who had the shot.
He came out of the corner and let it go. I thought it was in.
He came around the corner. Wendell Young had been knocked down and lost his stick. He was scrambling to get back on his feet. And the shot went through him and off the post. And right back to him. There's a break there for the Pens. Gordy Roberts in there tying up one of the Nordiques right on the doorstep. I think that puck went between the legs of Wendell Young. And probably wouldn't have if he had a stick there.
So it's not 3-2. It remains 3-1 here. In period number 2. Must be the mask, the lucky mask.
Yep.
Coffey of the Penguins from the draw goes to Taglianetti, and he'll throw it up the boards.
They used to wear the mask that was a complete cage with a helmet, and he said that last few times he's been hit in the face with that mask on, it's come very close. The metal part came very close to his face, and it felt getting more dangerous.
Moran now in the right wing circle. Penguins in center point to Steve Finn. A slap shot. Save is made in the rebound. The Nordiques can't get to it. Now they're coming back on here in the second period. Guy Lafleur couldn't handle it. Tony Tanny working ahead out of Randy Gillen. Penguins on the move, and Gillen playing left wing tonight. Pushes the puck into the Nordiques in. And around to the near corner. Barry Peterson went for the puck. He had one that he rung off the post to the left of Tugnut here in the second. But Mike Huff able to carry the puck out. Gets it back to the Penguins in. And Coffey corrals it. Coffey's pass over to Jagr, coming up to the Nordiques in, and he can't get around the defenseman to make the move. Session made the play there to just slow him down enough so he couldn't handle it. And Steve Finn gets possession of the Nordiques with 10:06 to go in the second period. Pittsburgh 3 and the Nordiques 1. Finn going back and forth behind his own goal, doesn't know where to go with it. Finally dishing up on the right side of the Nordiques, just poke it through in the right wing. Guy Lafleur went for it, but it's too far beyond him. And Wendell Young and the Penguins in. Moving to Zalapsky, and a quick pass ahead of Jagr. Slows the tempo down. Jagr learned a little bit with some experience. Going to Bork now. He fakes a shot, moves it deep in front. They got a man there. Stanton deflects it right off the post. Ball Stanton had that chance, and the Nordiques come back 3-on-1. Matt Sundin, left side, in front. A man there, Wolanin, and he can't handle it. Well, Wolanin was wide open coming down. Isn't that funny how things go? There was Stan right there with a great setup play. Just could not score, and the Nordiques almost came back and put one in themselves. Bork now. Here's Herdina going towards the net. Herdina turns and wrists one. That'll miss the mark. The net is dislodged to Sean Anderson. knocks Bork away from the goal.
And by the way, Mike, in that rush for Willannon, Yager was down and injured back in his own end, which gave the Nordiques an advantage coming up ice. He went to the bench, appears to be all right, but he was shaken up for a moment.
Penguins lead by 2, 3-1 here in the second period. We'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Well, one of the Penguins, I think it was Stanton, asked Yager, he said, do you know French, as they were getting off the bus? And he said, French fries. That's the only French Yager knows how to speak right now. And Phil Bork tried to set up Stanton and did set him up. Stanton just pushed it to the net and went right off the post. Paul Stanton jumping into the play and came that close to scoring his second goal.
Yeah, man.
He's smiling again.
Say something in French, and he said, French fly. You know, he's got a sister back home in Czechoslovakia, as he calls it.
Yeah.
And his father, of course, coached hockey. And we'll get back to that in a moment. Here on the far side of the Penguins in, Larry Murphy. Tied up by Gillis. They jam it along the boards. Owen Nolan trying to work it free. And they whistle it down. But his father built himself, built a house for the family, and now has built a house for Yarmer and has built a house for his sister. They have 3 houses. Yarmer has his own house that has been built by his father back home.
It's a hat trick of houses. Start your own Penguins videotape library by calling Genesis Video Productions at 1-800-TRY-PENS to pick your favorite matchup, like this one here tonight between the Penguins and Quebec Nordiques.
I saw some good things today. I saw a pair of shoes here in Canada. The Rock Salt Specials.
How much were
$1,195.
$1,195 shoes. Is that each?
Crocodile Dundees. Crocodile Dundees. I almost lost it. Here the Nordiques around the Penguin net. Young passing ahead to Bob Airy and up the left wing to Mark Recchi. Recchi scoots his way into the Nordiques in. And Lemieux makes a steal. Lemieux coming down the slot, left over Bob Airy. A missed shot, and that save is made by Tugnuss left pad. Airy again put it behind the goal to Lemieux. Recchi's wide open in front. Can he get it to him? He can't. And Lemieux turns and shoots and tries to knock it in, and he couldn't do it. Lemieux almost scored there. Bob Airy behind the net down Lemieux. Lemieux to Recchi. Great pass and a shot. Tugnuss made the save. And unconsciously made that one. Lemieux with those $1 million passes, setting up Mark Recchi, and he almost got his second goal of the game. Now the Nordiques steer it back into the Penguins in. Knocked away, and Recchi takes on the pass from Lemieux. And the wrecking ball is knocked down by Steve Finn. Lemieux will stay out. The shift's getting a little bit longer now for Mario here as the game progresses.
He made 3 plays there on one shift in about 30 seconds that there's not another player in the league that makes it.
Mark Recchi now
Scary.
trying to find Lemieux off his stick and into the Nordiques in.
What we've been missing.
And Finn now cutting back in behind his own goal. Around to the left wing for Mike Huff. Huff's pass to Sakic. He lost the puck to Stevens. Stevens will settle it down. It's intercepted by the Nordiques, and they turn it up the left side. 3-1 the Penguins lead. Rick White pass over to Lafleur. Slap shot. A save made by Wendell Young on Guy Lafleur. He was trying to go the other way. Stevens gave it away to Sean Anderson. Anderson right back to Stéphane Moret. Moret working the right wing of the Penguins in. He'll pull up. Cullen overtook him, but he fell down. Can the Penguins clear? They can't. Lafleur with the puck. Sneaking in behind the Penguin net in front now. Murray can't throw it home. Right in front again, a loose puck. And Sean Anderson. And the Nordiques playing the Penguin style right now. It's wide open. Mike Huff. Lost it to Covey. He can't get it out, though. And Cullen finally will drag it out of his own end. Man open left wing. Stevens with a lot of room. Into the Nordiques in. Leave it for Cullen. Cullen now makes a little move on Lafleur. He's got man in front. Young, and he can't get it to him. Paglianetti takes it right side. Everybody's going in deep. Paglianetti gave it away, though, to Huff on the drop pass, and the Nordiques counterattack. They might be out of gas here. Lafleur's had 3 rushes up ice on this shift, and he shoots it to the net weakly. Young will make the save. It bounces free, and Lafleur is going to try and get back. Well, he's been out here a long time. Stevens to the right wing to Coffey. Nordiques in, cuts for the net, dropping off to Young. He's there, his shot, and Duckett made the save on Scott Young. Well, if you like scoring chances, you're watching the right game or listening to it. You're getting them at both ends of the rink. We'll be back. 3-1 the score. The Penguins lead on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Not taking a little dance on Sakic, who can make some moves of his own. Tried to jam it past Tugnut. And Recchi went to the corner for the puck. Reversed it to Lemieux. Watch Lemieux's little drop pass to Recchi through traffic. Right on the tape. Shot. Airy tried to deflect it in. And Scott Young kind of pushed this shot to the net. He really didn't crank it the way he can, and hit a stick and jumped up and hit Tugnut.
That's what happened. It hit a stick. And it took the velocity off of it. Here's Gillen now in the Nordiques end. Turning to shoot it. Hit the pipe to the right of Tugnut as Big Ben struck one again. And defenseman Alexei Gusarov heels it up the near side. Penguins lead by 2 here. Tanny poke checked it away towards a goal, but Belichick defensively, the former Devil, around the right wing, and Nolan is bumped by Randy Gillen. Nordiques leave it at center ice. The Penguins have it. They'll give it away. Gusarov to the right wing to Nolan. Crisscross with Sakic, and Sakic now moving his way into the Penguins end, comes down with a wrist shot attempt. That's partially deflected along the far boards, and Gillen unable to get it out. Barry Pearson just falls on that loose puck, and we'll get a face-off. And we'll get a change of lines coming up with 5:40 to go in period number 2. Penguins lead 3-1, and we'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network. Quebec. And the Penguins have a 3-1 lead. They beat Quebec earlier this year 6-3 in a game that Kevin Stevens had a hat trick in back in Pittsburgh. In fact, John Tanner started the game in goal for the Nordiques, replaced by Ron Tugnut. Lasted only 12 minutes as the Penguins scored 4 times against him. And Pearson now putting the puck in front of the Penguin net. That's cut off. And whipped ahead. Back down into Quebec territory. Tugnut turns it around to the near corner. Lapointe took a check at Herdina. Put it behind the goal. Still loose in front. Bork trying to get to it. Herdina will. He's right there. He shoots and scores. Yuri Herdina makes it 4-1 Pittsburgh. And Tugnut didn't know whether to cry or wind his watch on that shot. He watched Herdina right in front, and he knew he was going to have a great chance, and he just blistered it over his left shoulder, it appeared, and the Penguins have a 4-1 lead. Yeah, Herdina had him dead to rights, and the puck was lying there for a long time, and Phil Bork didn't go, he didn't know where it was. He finally reached for it, and it ended up just staying where it was, and Herdina stepped in, took his time, found the spot he wanted, and buried it. It's a good line. Yager, Herdina, and Bork. There they are, right there. Happy line. Yep. That's a happy line. And Bork now setting up the goal. I don't know if Yager will get an assist on that or not. It might be a good name for that line, the happy line. Lemieux shoots it down the near boards. You can tell Borky between periods. We'll give him a new nickname. They all seem to have always smiling some fun out there. Yeah. Gillis now with his pass up to Losell. Losell had it poked away, and it will come to Recchi. He's right back into the Nordiques end. Got a man in front. Lemieux, when he couldn't quite feather through. Coffey shooting right on Tugnut. And it's grabbed by the Nordiques, and they lift it back to center. Penguins have a 4-1 lead here in the second period. Sundin moving in deep into the Penguins end. Leave it off to Losell. Losell turned around back in behind the Penguin goal. Well, the Nordiques got the first goal in this game, but the Penguins have scored the next 4. They lead by 3. Paglianetti behind his own net. Bumped in the play. The Nordiques taken away. Sundin right point to Gusarov. Gusarov to Losell. Put it back in front for Gillis too far. Randy Belichick gets it for the Nordiques. Tap it to the right wing corner. Played off Coffey's body, and the Penguins, Bob Airy, trying to get possession of it. Can't do it. Airy is hit on the play by Gillis. There's a penalty coming up against Paul Gillis. And Gillis is going to sit down. And so we'll take a timeout with 3:49 to go in period number 2. 4-1 Pittsburgh on the Penguins Hockey Network. Box throughout his career. We'll spend 2 more minutes in there for blasting Bob Airy along the boards. Picks up a roughing call. I'm heading downstairs to interview Phil Bork. Now, Mike, if I don't show up, send help, will you? Because I can't speak French, and I might get lost. I might have in the boiler room in this building. I'm not sure where I'm going here, so I'll see you later. I have faith in you, Staggy. I know you'll make it. Penguins on the power play, their 3rd chance of the game, and they have a 4-1 lead right now, trying to add to it. And Cullen out with Lemieux and Recchi with Murphy and Coffey as appointment. Lemieux into the Nordiques end, pulled back on the left side. Look how much room they give him. Lemieux wheel and deal, left point over to Coffey, back to Lemieux. Now around the net to Cullen, shoots it off the stick of Tugnut. Recchi now behind the net to Cullen. Cullen couldn't get it to Lemieux, and the Nordiques working to the left point, but not out. Down the board, Cullen went in for. He is from behind by Wolanin. 3 Penguins in the corner, and they finally gain possession. Left point to Coffey. Center point to Larry Murphy. Now passing the puck to Coffey off the stick of Recchi as he tried to direct to the right wing corner. The Nordiques after it. They can't clear. Murphy in the side of Lemieux. He shoots it, and Newman right over the head of Ron Tugnut. Well, Lemieux almost put that one in up the ladder. Lemieux's got it in front. He had it checked away by Sakic. And Sakic's pass to Mike Huff. A minute to go in the penalty. Coffey's back to get the biscuit. He comes up ice. Look for Murphy. Lascelles did a good checking job to Lapointe. Lapointe to the Penguins in shorthand. It cuts to the net. A backhand shot and stopped by Wendell Young, who went diving to his left to make the save on Claude Lapointe. Murphy will step up. Got Cullen. He goes now to the left side of the Nordiques into Lemieux. Drop pass to Coffey. Open. When he shoots it and over to close ground on the Penguin defenseman was Claude Lascelles to get a stick on that shot by Paul Coffey. And it went to the seats and will get a face-off in the Quebec end. Well, Hartford's added a goal to lead the Flyers 3-1. The Flyers have won 4 straight. Penguins trying to close some ground against the Philadelphia Flyers. Nordiques slide Lapointe, stopped by Wendell Young. I'll tell you, the big play there after that was Lemieux's opportunity from the slot area. He was set up, and a booming slap shot went right over the crossbar. Ardini, Young, and Stevens in the power play, and lifted back to the Penguins line. Coffey will gain possession. A half a minute to go in the Gillis penalty. And here are the Penguins moving up quickly now to the Nordiques blue line. Scott Young. Sisson trying to clear the puck away from him. It bounces in behind the Nordiques goal. Scott Young will get it up his skates. Left point to Coffey. Coffey, the Penguins, back to Scott Young. Left wing circle. To Coffey again, center point. He's going to Young. He can't set it up. Goes to Coffey. Penguins playing catch with it. 5 seconds to go. Zalewski. Left side to Young. Herdina and Stevens moving around the net. It goes to Herdina. It's got a man cutting for the net with Zalewski, but he can't get it through to him. And the Nordiques will clear it away, and that'll do it. The penalty has expired. Gillis comes on. The Nordiques are back to equal strength. Coffey trying to make a go here in the shift here to the right wing to Stevens. Stevens a drop pass to Tony Tanny. Moves in, trying to give it back to Stevens. That pass not on his stick, and it comes off the boards and back to the center ice area. Zalewski got it up for the Penguins with 1:23 to go. Now he's going to shoot it back into Quebec territory and go off here as the Penguins make a wholesale change. Barry Peterson on with Gillen and Tanny, but the Penguins changed defensively. And Gordy Roberts looks for room. Off the glass and ahead now to Quebec ice. Penguins and Nordiques were tied 1-1 going to the second, but the Penguins have scored 3 times here in the second and lead by 3. And wristed back here behind the Nordiques goal where Steve Finn, the young defenseman, shoots it down the near boards back at Penguin ice, and Young's going to play the puck as Lafleur approaches. Wheeled around the boards, but not out. Tackling Eddie of Pittsburgh. Over in the near wing for Roberts, but Guy Lafleur got a stick on it. It's still loose. Tandy went for the puck. Left point, it goes to Finn, and it's off a leg as he tried to shoot it. Karam's right back into the Nordique zone, and 40 feet from the net is Tugnut to clear it away up ice. And Tony McKigney now hauls it in. He'll skate the right wing into Pittsburgh territory. Goes behind the net, centers in front. It came right in on Wendell Young, and he made the save. Came off a Penguin player, I believe. Lafleur. Turn it back into the near corner. Murray centers, good play to Anderson, wristing one right on. And Young again makes the stop, and he holds the rebound as Taglianetti and Murray get involved in front of that net. Peter Taglianetti and Stéphane Murray in around that goal. 6 seconds to go. Quick timeout right now. 4-1. The Penguins have the lead on the Penguins Hockey Network. The Penguins leading 4-1 here. Again, Taglianetti trying to clear things away from that goal as the Nordiques closed in tight. They're trying to pick up that loose puck. Gordy Roberts is going to get a penalty here with only 6 seconds to go in the period. And the Nordiques, time runs out, so they're going to have this penalty carry over. 19:54 will be the time of the penalty to Gordy Roberts, and the period ends. So the Penguins notch 3 in the second period against Ronnie Tugnut. At the end of 2, the Penguins lead 4-1 here on the Penguins Hockey Network. Quebec City, the Penguins have a 4-1 lead over the Nordiques. The scoring in the second period Recchi is 26 from Lemieux and Airy. And Airy is 12th from Lemieux and Recchi at 5:57. That line figured in on both those goals. Then Herdina, number 5, from Phil Bourque. And Jaromir Jagr did get an assist on the goal at 14:58. Shots in the second period, 12-6 in favor of the Pens. They've shot the Nordiques 26-23. And down below, down the ladder, Penguin left winger Phil Bourque joins Paul Steigerwald.
Yeah, the left winger on the happy line. Maybe, I don't know if Phil likes that nickname, but I know one thing. Jaromir Jagr constantly has a smile on his face, and Borky's one of the more entertaining guys on the Penguin team. And Jiri Hrdina certainly seems to be a pretty happy guy right now, too. Phil, your line's really going. And as a matter of fact, before the game, Bob Johnson made the point to me. He said, you know, everybody's talking about John Cullen's going to have a little bit more room out there because Mario Lemieux's in the lineup, but your line's going to benefit from it, too, because people have to watch out for three lines, really, that can really put the puck in the net.
Right, we've been playing great together. I couldn't be happier.
It's the happy line. You know?
I don't understand what they're saying out there, but I just kind of go along, and we have good chemistry, and that's what makes a good line is knowing what the other guy's going to do before he even does it. And we've been gelling real good, and we've been working hard all night, and we were probably laughing on the bench because we were working. We had so many chances before that. We finally got one that was more or less a fluke. It just bounced out to Yuri, and he banged it home.
As a matter of fact, we can talk about the goal and just maybe talk about how Hrdina beat Ron Tugnuck on it. I'm sure we have a replay of it, but it was a case where you didn't know the puck was even loose. It was sitting there for a long time, and Hrdina finally found it.
Well, I was looking for it. I mean, I was hoping it would come through there.
There it is.
And I had a feeling, and Gordy Roberts was yelling, I couldn't reach it, and Yuri didn't go anyplace, and bingo, it's in the net. Big one.
You know, Borky, we got to ask you your thoughts on Mario Lemieux coming back. And obviously, as the game wears on, he seems to be getting more confidence with carrying the puck and carrying people with him, too.
Oh, he's unbelievable. One time he had the puck, and I looked down the bench, and everybody was just kind of, you know, with their jaws hanging open. You know, you catch yourself like that all the time. He's not 100%, but he's in rare form tonight, and he's got the family here and everything, so he's going to put on a little bit of a show. And he made an unbelievable play on Bobby Uri's goal. That was a great play. I
think the guys seem to be perked up, and there seemed to be a little different atmosphere around the room today just because of Mario's presence.
Yeah, this morning's skate, there was a little extra hop out there because we all knew Mario was going to play, and you know, the media adds a little bit more tension and excitement, and it's a different atmosphere now. We're having fun now. You know, we know Mario's back, but hopefully we don't get that feeling where Mario's going to do everything and he's going to lead the way and all that. Hopefully we just add him into the lineup, and he's almost like a turbo boost, you know, and puts us over the top.
You know, we should talk about the fact that you're holding in your hand one of the real delicacies, gourmet delicacies of Quebec province. Now, see, there's a lot of great restaurants in this area, believe me, but this is the thing that people come here to eat. What is this, Borky? Tell the fans about it. You got to open it up though, so they can see what it is. Get a shot of this now. You got to zoom in on it now.
For every player that's ever sat in the stands in Quebec, this is what it's all about. It's called the Chien Chaud, the hot dog. And it's the best hot dog in the league. Guys rate the hot dogs when they sit out and they don't play. They rate the popcorn, but this is a big thrill when you sit. Nobody likes to sit out when you're on the road. But
what makes it so good? It's so different.
Oh, the toasted bun. You got the unbelievable mustard and relish in here. It's just top rate. You can't beat it. It's a Chien Chaud.
And Chien Chaud is actually dog hot. So that, you know, like the literal translation is dog hot, not hot dog, but it is the hot dog here in Quebec, and it is good. And if you ever come up this way, take it from Phil Bourque. You want to taste the Chien Chaud. We'll be back in just a moment. The Penguins and the Nordiques here from the Coliseum on the Penguins Hockey Network. Take a bite of that, will you, Borky? No, you can't do that. Let me have a bite.
And service of copiers all over the tri-state area. They've got word processors. They've got money handling equipment. And they support the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the third consecutive year with a $25 contribution for each double trouble goal scored by the Penguins double number players, and with the total so far this year of $1,525 going to Make-A-Wish. Thank you. The Pittsburgh Bulls meet the New England Blazers at the Civic Arena on Saturday, February 16th at 8 o'clock. Don't miss the hard-hitting action of major indoor lacrosse, and all fans in attendance receive a full-color action poster of the Bulls, courtesy of Saul Neff Sports. Tickets on sale now at all choice seat outlets, including Kaufman's, Horns, and selected National Record Mart stores. Or you can charge your tickets by calling 333-SEAT. On the U.S. Air scoreboard, let's see if we can update you here on what's going on around the National Hockey League. Finals this afternoon. The Montreal Canadiens beat the Buffalo Sabres 4-1. The Boston Bruins knocked off Calgary 5-2, the final there at the Garden in Boston. Now through 2 periods at Hartford, the Whalers have a 4-2 lead over the Philadelphia Flyers. Minnesota at New Jersey. In the first period, Minnesota leads the Devils 1-0. Toronto on a goal by Mike Foligno leads the Chicago Blackhawks 1-0 in the second period. St. Louis has a 2-1 lead over the Red Wings. That game in the first period. Brett Hull has scored 2 more tonight. He now has 52 on the year. And later tonight, the Vancouver Canucks will be at Los Angeles against the Kings. Here at Quebec City, the Penguins own a 4-1 lead over the Nordiques, and we'll talk more with you in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network. Here in Quebec, and this year the excitement continues as the all-new 1991 edition of the Moscow Circus comes to the arena with 9 spectacular performances. Tickets for this one, which will be a once-in-a-lifetime spectacle, are on sale now at all choice seat outlets. So if you've never seen the circus for at least once in your life, this will be the spectacle that you want to see. And here's what you do. You want to rush down now to Kaufman's tomorrow, or Horns, or maybe a selected National Record Mart store. You know, I mean, go fast. Don't worry about it. As long as you're getting these tickets for the circus, they won't stop you. And you want to call this number if you want to charge it, but I'd rather drive. Call 333-SEAT. So speed on down there and pick yourself up those tickets before they're all gone to that once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. It's almost as good as seeing Paul Steigerwald in person. We'll be back on the Penguins Hockey Network. The second period, but Mark Recchi cashed in with his 26th of the year at 131. Just drilled it off goaltender Ronnie Tugden and threw it out with his glove. But the goal was good, and the Penguins had a 2-1 lead. The first point of the year for Mario Lemieux, and then at 5:57, same line teamed up. Lemieux setting up Bob Airey, who went right to the net, deflected it by Tugden, and fell right on top of him. And the final goal in the period at 14:58 with newcomer Yuri Hrdina notching his 5th of the year, and all in a Penguin uniform. Jagr fell down behind, but Bork found the loose puck, and Hrdina then turned, and he was wide open one-on-one against Hrdina. Wristed it right by his glove hand to get the Penguins on the board again. Shots were 12-6 Pittsburgh, 26-23 Pens on the night so far as we begin period number 3. Let me give you that too. I've done it all here. Let me see if I can give you the hot shot. Where are we at? Rose Brannon of Pittsburgh. Zarly Zalapski is her contestant for 900? 900 big ones.
That's a lot of groceries. And the Z-Man hasn't scored in 11 games, so he is due.
Well, they apparently have some loose water around one of the nets, or something's wrong here. Gone to the walkway. No, it wasn't that. Down behind the Penguin goal. Picked up something they gave to one of the rink officials here. Get a shot of the goal judges here, who do not have a protective cage. They work as most teams in the league have here in Quebec City. They rip back into the Nordiques end to begin period number 3. Sean Anderson leaving the puck for Sundin, and now back in behind the Nordiques goal. The Quebec Nordiques on the year have won 10 games. They're tied with the Toronto Maple Leafs with 29 points for the worst record. And of course, the team that finishes last will have the first choice in the draft this coming summer. But Toronto's choice belongs to New Jersey. Remember that. And Eric Lindros is the big key player everybody's looking at as far as this year's draft is concerned. Joe Sakic on the power play. Roberts went in for delay of game was the call. Late in the second, Gusarov shoots one. That's off Bob Airey, and it hops into the seats. And that'll play.
Gusarov, one of the youngest Soviet players to join the National Hockey League, 26 years old.
Can't be much younger than Fedorov, though.
Nope.
Who was what, 19 or 20?
I believe he's 21.
Is he 20? Is he that old?
I think so, yeah. Should look it up in our trusty NHL guide.
Chicago has tied the game at home against the Maple Leafs in the second period. They're tied 1-1.
Joe Sakic was acquired by virtue of a pick that the Nordiques got in exchange for Dale Hunter. Went to the Washington Capitals. Pretty good pick for the Nordiques. Pretty good trade. I would go for both teams, really, but Sakic is a superstar.
In the left wing corner now with the Penguins in on power play, the Nordiques with a minute to go, and they jam it up again on the boards.
How about Tony McKegney? He just keeps on rolling, doesn't he? He needs 12 points for 650 in his career.
Yeah, Wendell Young has a 4-1 lead here going to the third period for the Penguins. Haven't seen a whole lot of action this year for Pittsburgh. Responding pretty well tonight. The Nordiques had the opening goal, but Young is stoning the rest of the way. Here on the right side of the Penguins in. Put in the corner, and Stanton now wrap it around the boards. Peterson's over trying to clear it out. He can't do it, but Zalapsky will carry it up. Comes back on a short-handed 2-on-1. Zalapsky might get that goal here. Zalapsky comes down, shoots it right on save made, rebound, and Bork can't put it in. Well, Zalapsky trying to send somebody home with some groceries. And Rose, he just couldn't get it by Rod Tugnut. They're off the boards. It will be Sean Anderson. Anderson lost the puck to Barry Peterson. 29 to go on the penalty. Peterson moves into the Nordique zone. The right side is Zalapsky. Cut around McKegney, but he's knocked down. And the Nordiques turn and go the other way on the counterattack. Matt Sundin. Fake a shot in the Penguins in. Comes in against Taglianetti. He just turned right up the puck. Still shoots it as he went down. And Wendell Young will stop it. Matt Sundin showing a great deal of tenacity and ability to stay on his skates and then make a play still after being hit and moved away from the net area. Still got that shot off.
How many guys have worn the number 13 in the National Hockey League are famous players? I know Kenny Linsman has worn it. Jimmy Hamilton wore it for the Penguins, but there haven't been a lot of 13s. But Matt Sundin trying to make that a very famous number here in Quebec. He's going to be a great one.
Well, they have 14 seconds now left on the penalty.
He was taken first overall in '89.
There've been some lean years here in Quebec.
Well, you just wonder when some of these players will blossom and this whole thing will turn around for them, because they do have a lot, as I said, a lot of first-round picks.
Well, by the way, Brian Fogarty, another first-round pick.
He was just sent down today.
Yeah, down to the minors. Here's Lafleur off the right side.
They need some leadership here in Quebec.
Sisson now will give a center point to Lafleur. Booming shot off the stick of Wendell Young. 3 seconds to go on the Penguin penalty to Gordy Roberts. And Coffey trying to tie up one of the Nordiques. It comes in front. Lafleur's there. He shoots and scores. Guy Lafleur gets the goal. And the Nordiques make it 4-2. Will not be a power play goal. Roberts had just returned to the ice. And Guy Lafleur leaving him alone in front of that net. In days past, it would have almost definitely been a goal every time. But he does get this one by Wendell Young.
The flower. He had all day to shoot that one. Snapped it right between his legs.
You know what happened? He didn't take his time either. I mean, he got rid of it in such a hurry, maybe a little bit quicker than Wendell Young anticipated, but he's still able to fire it in. And Lafleur gets the goal at 1:57.
It's so hard for a goaltender to have any idea where that shot's going to go, because he snapped it. It's like a little compact slap shot. You really don't know. You can't read the shot off the stick. It's just coming.
Well, they do love him here in Quebec. And here at center ice, it's Jaromir Jagr, a 4-2 hockey game now. And again, not a power play goal. Came after Roberts to come out of the penalty box. Taglianetti putting the body into one of the Nordiques on the far side. Quebec trying to get back into it. Jagr takes it away, and Jaromir at center finds Yuri Hrdina. Can't get it through to Bork, and a loose puck corralled now by Murray. They just tap it away to the Penguins in. The Nordiques trying to make a line change here. Left wing Coffey back into the Nordique zone, pulls up left point. Shoot it weakly behind the net. It goes around to Hrdina. Hrdina put it in front, but Jagr can't find the open space. And the Nordiques counterattack. Owen Nolan snap it away to the Penguin goal. That's wide of the net, hit the glass. Young turns it over to Jaromir Jagr, not quite sure where to go with it. Jaromir slows the attack down, finds John Cullen now and goes to the bench. As Cullen drills it down the near boards into the Nordiques left wing corner. Belichick defensively to Craig Wolan and his partner. Lannon's outlet pass comes to Paul Gillis, but he is stopped neatly at center ice by Larry Murphy. And the Nordiques recover to get command of it again. Gillis turned around by John Cullen of Pittsburgh along the right wing boards in front of the Nordiques bench. And a quick whistle there to stop the play. 16:36 to go in the third period. And we'll be back in just a moment. The score now reads the Penguins 4, the Nordiques 2 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Yeah, 4 years ago.
Lafleur from Mike Huff and Stéphane Moret to get the Nordiques another goal.
Just looking up Sergei Fedorov. He did turn 21 on December 13th, so he's 21 years old. He'd be the youngest Soviet. Gusarov may be the second youngest.
And we're back to action. The Nordiques in. Scott Young trying to get to the puck. He can't. The Nordiques come rambling out. The Nordiques have 6 ties here at home this year. And they've gone to overtime 11 times during the course of the season, so they have been involved in some close games. And John Cullen now trying to push it ahead. He had it checked aside by Joe Sakic. Sakic with the puck now. Moving to the Penguins end. Got around Roberts. Sakic now in front. Got a man Sundin, and he can't get the shot off. And Roberts pulled down Sundin. It's going to be called back. No penalty. We're going to call for the faceoff outside of the Penguin blue line because Sundin was the man that dislodged the net. 15:52 to go in the third. The Nordiques trying to get back into it. They trail by 2 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Sundin and Sakic look on. Harry Murphy backing in, and centering pass came through, and Wendell Young alertly poked that away, and then bang, into the net went Sundin.
Well, the Minnesota North Stars lead the Devils 2-1 in the second period, is it? Second period at New Jersey. Here's Lemieux now cutting back into the Nordiques in, put it in front of Bob Erie, and he can't deflect it in. Behind the net, Mark Recchi takes over for the Penguins. Lemieux in front, and he shoots it just wide of the far post. Talansky of Pittsburgh picks it up, but he can't make a play, and the Nordiques clear. Talk about that Minnesota game because today in the French papers, of course, you know I can read the French papers. There's a report that Jacques Demers has talked to some people from New Jersey about possibly maybe going there as a coach. Here's Lemieux around the Nordiques goal. Cut up by the Nordiques, and they come rambling out. 4 men strong to center. Loisel, former Red Wings coach, who, by the way, is wearing a Red Wings sweater tonight, doing the broadcast radio-wise up here. Looking ahead, knocked off the boards, but John Cunniff apparently.
I'm sure that's not a New Jersey sweater.
On the right wing, Gusarov shoots it back in behind the Penguin goal. Zalapsky trying to find Taglianetti, and he will. Taglianetti quickly move it to center ice to Barry Peterson. Good left wing pass to Gillen. He's into the Nordiques end. Gillen unable to center as Gusarov made a good play to overtake him. Working away but not out. Tanny slap it back in behind the net. Sean Anderson, Nordiques defenseman, to the right wing to Guy Lafleur, and now to Gusarov, and Gusarov's pass finding Huffman back to Gusarov. Nordiques 14:25 to go in the third period. Pittsburgh leading 4-2 here in Quebec. And the Nordiques just shoot it ahead of the Penguins into the rink, and they go for a line change here. Penguins getting Herdina's unit out with Yager and Bork. When they get an opportunity, Yager's already on. Nordiques coming to the Penguins end on the left side. Moran shoots to the corner. Coffey moving up the boards. Randy Gillen will just skate it out to center. And Yager will try and take it up ice to allow a line change. Gillen goes to the bench. The Nordiques get the puck, and all kinds of players falling down. Moran to the Penguins end, trying to leave it for Guy Lafleur. And Bork just on, got the loose puck. Bork is hit by Mike Huff and knocked off his skates, and Bork is hurt on that play. Looks for a penalty.
Should have been one. That was a cheap shot by Huff. I told you he was taking shots at people earlier, too.
Huff to the right wing of the Penguins in. Bork's going to bring himself off. It's centered in front of the net. Off a stick and grab Sakic. Sakic to Olanen. Olanen can't hold on to it. And Yager on the play. Leaves it for Taglianetti. Pass ahead. Herdina came off, and now Velicic bumped by Taglianetti as a Penguin. Rip it back into the Nordique zone. Yager went after the puck. He overskated it. And Quebec trying to come out on the attack. Matt Sundin hit by Herdina with a stick, but he keeps right on coming. Into Pittsburgh guys. Sakic overtaken on the play by Herdina, but he gets the puck to an open man, Sundin, and he is bumped. And the puck hops back to center ice. We are 7 minutes into period number 3. The Penguins lead 4-2 here at Quebec.
What Huff did to Bork, Mike, is exactly what Medill did to Mark Recchi the other night in that game between the Penguins and Devils. Put out the knee, and they locked knees, and just fortunately Bork was able to get up and skate to the bench.
Errant pass cut off by the Penguins. Can Scott Young shoot it? No, he can't hold on to it. Lifted back to center ice. Gordy Roberts of the Penguins very coolly winds it down the boards in behind the Quebec goal. Steve Finn defensively for the Nordiques, moving to the right around Tugman, played it right out Cullen, and he couldn't get the shot off. And Finn recovers to make amends for his mistake, and it's moved back to center ice off the skates of Murphy, right back to the Penguin goal. Wendell Young's going to glove it, drop it, pass it to Gordy Roberts, and he'll move it up the left wing to John Cullen. Coming to Pittsburgh with the Nordiques in. Cuts down the right side now as he cut across the ice. Moves in against the defenseman. Goes behind the net. Turns. Looking. Turning. Shooting. And Tugnutt made the save. The rebound. Stevens trying to move people away so that somebody can get into the open play around the net, but they can't do it. Joe Sakic now returns for the Nordiques. Try to headman the puck to Mark Vermette. That's not going to happen. Sakic has it again, though. Down the right wing into the Penguins end. Pulls up. Attempted drop pass off Zalapki. Picked up by Sakic, and he shoots it. And hit the leg of one of the Penguins, and Sakic races to the bench now as the Nordiques want to make some changes. Larry Murphy looking for Lemieux ahead. Mario on the ice against Gusarov. Gusarov runs into his own man Belichick, but the Nordiques are able to take command of the biscuit, and here on the move is LaSalle. So the Penguins in a long shot, and Young's going to stop that from long range and just knock it down as Pearson gets involved here with Bob Airy of the Penguins. Scott Pearson.
Mark Recchi just caught a piece of Tugnutt with his stick, and Tugnutt looked over at referee Kerry Fraser wanting a call. He had hit across the neck with the blade of Recchi's stick at the other end of the ice.
11:26 left here in the third period, and Stanton and Mark Vermette now push and shove a little bit. Might get some penalties issued here. We'll return in a moment. Penguins lead by 2 in the third period on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Earlier, Bourque came swinging out of his own end with that puck, and Huff just put the knee out and tripped Phil Bourque. Just a blatant cheap shot by Mike Huff. You just hate to see that in a game. And then John Cullen with a great rush on Velishchek. He left him in the dust. Tried to wrap it around. Scott Young in a little too tight to take a pass. He shot it back, and just in time, Tugnutt got the blade of the stick down to make the save on Johnny Cullen. So often we've seen Cullen come out from behind the net with the puck like that, and I've asked him if he has any other plays in mind when he's coming around the corner, what he'd like to do. He said he'd like to see the defenseman step up and come up to the top of the circle, and he would set him up there. Because oftentimes he'll come around that corner, and it's almost like he has no options. He doesn't really know what to do with it. That time he was able to swing the puck to the net.
So the coincidental Miners will not put anybody shorthanded. The Penguins leading by 2 here in the third period. The Pens were tied 1-1 at the end of the first period. Took a 4-1 lead at the end of 2. Now with Guy Lafleur scoring here in the third, it's a 4-2 contest. And Barry Peterson skates for the puck coming back to the Nordiques blue line. Penguins will meet the Capitals on Tuesday at home. Gillen has it. He tries to center back for Peterson. Too well covered by Sean Anderson. And the Nordiques come by the check of Tony Tanti, and they shoot it ahead to the right wing to the Penguins in. Murray leads it for Guy Lafleur. Lafleur shoots it. Oh, that one just missed on the far side. It went off the glass behind Wendell Young. I'm not sure if it hit him in the shoulder and bounced in behind him or not. Lafleur looked to put that puck in the upper corner. And now play this whistle down. A hand pass called here will negate the play.
I think Lafleur had scored there. This game became very interesting, similar to the last couple of road games the Penguins have played. I should say the last couple of games they played, really. The Toronto game and the Jersey game, where they had leads in the third period and watched them dwindle. Lafleur's shot went right off the butt end of the shaft of Wendell Young's stick.
.43 left here in the third period. And Badger Bob Johnson sends out new troops. He's played 4 lines basically tonight, all about the same amount of ice time. He's proven to be pretty effective against this Quebec team. And Phil Bourque now cutting up the left wing, comes up, go to the right wing corner. They carry him off the board. Sardina races in behind the net to Yager. Yarmer's had 2 streaks this year, one of 7 games, the other on a 6-game point scoring streak for the rookie. And with Joe Mullen out of the lineup and really not knowing what the status of Mullen will be, you would expect Yager will see a lot more ice time now. And now play his whistle down. We're going to have penalties called here as Bourque gets involved with Matt Sundin, and now Finn comes over and takes a whack at Phil Bourque. And who's given him the shot? Taglianetti and Finn, and now Finn raising that stick up. Coffey's in there also, and Finn better put the blade down. It's getting a little dangerous there with that stick up.
You know Phil Bourque is not happy at all. He went over the bench after he was tripped by Huff, and he stood up and he looked over at Huff on the bench, and he was talking to him, letting him give him a piece of his mind. And the tempers are heating up a little bit right now in this one.
And we'll return in a moment. 10:09 to go in the third, and the Pens lead 4-2 over Quebec on the Penguins Hockey Network.
A fan was just holding up a sign in the stands that said, "We want Lindros."
Well, the penalties will be issued here. to Finn and Borquist. Sundin also gets a penalty at 9:51. And the Nordiques will be shorthanded for the 4th time in the game.
I wonder where Badger got that tie.
Said he bought a couple more the other day.
You know, he was down at Budget Rent-A-Car. I think it was Rob Herman down there. Gave him a tie right up before the 6-game streak that the Penguins went on earlier in the season. It was an old tie. He pulled it out of a drawer. And Badger put it on and didn't take it off for 6 games. Yeah, he's holding the coat open so we can see that one. I wonder where he got that one. Send Badger ties. You never know. He might put him on a long winning streak.
Yeah, but I'm fair warning, if it doesn't work, then your tie goes in the garbage. Here's Larry Murphy. So get some old ones. You know, don't use the good ones. Get the ones that somebody gave you for Christmas you don't want.
Oh, he's going to love us.
Coffey's pass ahead to the Nordiques blue line. I know everybody's got at least 2 or 3 ties that they would never wear. So here's a chance for you to get rid of them for a good cause. Just put them in a package and send them to Badger Bob and tell him, here's for your next winning streak. Cullen, lead ahead. Lemieux comes down. He shoots the puck right on Tugnut, and he'll make that save. And Lemieux had that puck on edge when he let it go, and he didn't get all of what he wanted behind the shot. But Tugnut able to cut the angle down and make the save.
Well, Lemieux with that long reach, sneaking in along the blue line again, taking the lead pass, getting the jump down that right wing, and just tried to blow it by Tugnut.
You can talk about the hardest shots you want in the league, but that guy from anywhere close in, Lemieux, and the goaltenders will tell you he has the hardest shot.
Well, the goal he scored last year,
unbelievable.
The goal he scored last year in his comeback game when he came back for the last game of the regular season was out by the blue line, if you recall, against the Buffalo Sabres, and it was a bullet.
Lemieux now on the power play, working for the Penguins here to the left point to Coffey. 4-2 the Penguins lead. Coffey off to Lemieux to Coffey again. Center point. Shoots it. It hit a stick. Recchi now turns it over to Larry Murphy. Recchi's got such great hands, too, to move it quickly. That's the key, really, is moving the puck very quickly. Get rid of it, set an open man up. Coffey now over to Recchi. Shoots it. Oh, he just missed the net. And Tugnut, I may have pulled a groin on that play. Tugnut very slow in getting up. Back in the Nordiques goal. Recchi with such a good release. Almost beat the goaltender for the Nordiques, but he is favoring a leg or a groin muscle right now, I can tell you that. Here in the left wing is Recchi again, back into the Nordiques end. Drop pass to Lemieux, look out. Lemieux comes in, drop it back to Murphy. Murphy takes off deep down the near side. With Lemieux on this power play, the Penguins will have an absolutely incredible power play unit. Lemieux, right side, as if it wasn't good enough already. Coffey shooting, scoring, deflected in, I believe, by John Cullen. And the Penguins have made it 5-2. And ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. John Cullen, I believe, gets the power play goal. Talk about passing. Whew.
Coffey laying that shot down low again, right along the ice, so that Cullen could work with it on the deflection, and he was wide open again in front of the net, just like Stevens was earlier.
So Cullen from Lemieux and Coffey, and for John Cullen, he's been red hot in goal scoring for the Pens. He gets another one. And he has 23 on the year right now. And Lemieux has 3 points on the night.
It's an average night for him.
And Guy Lafleur shoots it ahead of the Penguin left wing corner after Mark Vermette. Vermette of the Nordiques going to Guy Lafleur. For a hit against the boards by Zalapski. The Penguins now 2 for 4 unofficially on the power play tonight. And Lafleur put it back in behind the Penguin net around to the near side. Penguins grab it. Barry Peterson shoot it ahead for Tony Tanti. Tanti can't hold on to it, and it goes deep into the Nordique zone.
Actually, if you want to know the truth, wait a second.
Now Gillen has the puck. Gillen of Pittsburgh in front, got Peterson there, and he shoots that one away wide. It was bouncing, and he just didn't get the full stick to it. He hit the heel of his stick, and he tried to shoot it. Around the right wing corner, Peterson moves in. He is challenged by Tony McKegney. Stanton, though, shoots it in behind the net. Here's Randy Gillen again with the puck to the Pens. Tried to center. The Nordiques cut that off, and they rip it around the boards and out of the zone.
Lemieux's average points per game coming into this season, 1.96. He's a little above his average. It's more than an average night for him, but he averages close to 2 points per game. Second highest in NHL history.
And Scott Young now directed in behind Tugnut. Despite giving up 5 goals, has played a strong game tonight for the Nordiques. And here on the attack will be Claude Lapointe. Lapointe, a late draft choice for the Nordiques back in 1989 from Laval. 12th round choice. Drop pass into the Nordiques end to Cullen, trying to feed it through to Stevens. Can't make that happen, and the Nordiques go the other way. Owen Nolan. Nolan trying to split the defense, and he can't do that. You see so many young players come in the league, even the big #1 choices, Paul, try and split those defensemen. They can do it. Junior Coffey back on the Nordiques scene right there. Has it. He shoots and scores. And he beat Tugnut like a rented mule. And the Penguins have a 6-2 lead. Oh, he was just helpless in front. And he pulled the whip out and started beating on him before he even shot the puck. He must have hit him a half dozen times, slowed the mule down, and then bang.
That's what you call roofing it, too. Well, he didn't roof it either. He shot it to the far side of the net inside the post. I thought he went upstairs with it. He was at a very sharp angle and put it inside the far post.
At that point, Tugnut wants to go outside. Coffey gets the goal, and it's 40 below outside. Not a good idea either. And for the doctor, he gets his 20th of the year, and it's a 6-2 Penguin lead. Murphy throws it ahead to Herdina. It's not to his stick, and at center ice the Nordiques pick it up. Matt Sundin coming to Pittsburgh territory, going back in behind the goal. Sundin turns, center it for Gillis. He's trying to get a shot off, can't do it. Goes to Sundin, man in front. Sakic and Young cut it off with a nice play in the goal to deflect the pass, and it's bounced back all the way to the Nordiques zone. Tugnut sweeping in behind the net. Session trying to get the puck out, and he can't do it. He falls down, and Sundin able to help the play, and he turns it up to center to Steve Finn of the Quebec Nordiques. 6 minutes to go in the third period. The left point, Finn shot blocked, picked up by Gillis. He drills one to the net off the left pad of Wendell Young. And Bork will flip it up to Yuri Herdina of Pittsburgh. Cuts his way to the Nordiques end. He gets through to the defense, coming to the net right front for Yager, and the pass just behind him. And Jarmer, what a nice play that was by Herdina. Boy, how did he know that Yager was there behind him?
Maybe he yelled. Maybe.
Yager again on the Nordiques end. Jarmer now trying to throw it in front of the net. He does. Sundin back checking. Made the play to clear it ahead. Sakic on a breakaway chance. Sakic comes in on goal. His shot. He scores. Joe Sakic went right upstairs on Wendell Young, right in front of the crossbar. And a goal scorer can do that effortlessly. And Sakic did that. Make it 6-3.
That's roofing it.
Sundin with a great pass up ice.
Sakic with a nice move to the backhand, and he did put it up there with authority on the backhand against Wendell Young. He came with speed, too, which makes it very difficult for the goaltender. He came in there at top speed to make that play.
Sakic's 27th of the year on a breakaway. Sundin, I believe, will have the only assist.
There's some talent on the ice tonight. Whew.
Now they've called a timeout here as Tugnut is being checked on, I think, by the referee, Kerry Frazier. And I have a feeling that that's going back to when he
was clipped by that stick of Mark Recchi.
No, remember when I told you that he pulled a muscle or pulled a groin? It appeared to me that he stretched out, and I don't think he's quite 100% right now. Well, the goal scored by Sakic is 27th from Sundin.
If this is a typical night for Ron Tugnut, he needs a raise.
And Wolanin now, look out, shoots it across the ice, and it deflected above the bench into the seats. We get a stop in play. They just changed lines, and we're going to take a quick timeout with 5:19 to go here in the third. 6-3. Penguins lead on the Penguins Hockey Network. Just inside the Quebec blue line. It's kind of funny. Here you've got Lemieux out here, and I know his idol when he grew up was Guy Lafleur. You know that.
I just saw that picture today of Lafleur with Mario when he was about 12 years old. Here they are out here playing against each other again.
All right, now trying to fire to the Penguins in. That's cut off. Taglianetti good on the play on the far side by Murray. Here's Lemieux breaking back. He centers over Recchi. He can't shoot it, and Tugnut had gone down. He's getting a little gun shy right now. Tugnut. The Nordiques come to center ice. They trail by 3. Drop pass to Huff. A slap shot. Score. Make it 6-4. Mike Huff on a booming slap shot to make it a 6-4 hockey game with 4:47 to go in regulation time.
He cranked that one up. Guy Lafleur looked off and just threw it across right on the tape, too, for Huff. And he blew it past Wendell Young on the glove side. See, Lafleur wasn't even looking when he made that pass. He peeked, and then he looked down at the puck, and then he moved it over to Huff. Good slap shot by Huff. It was pretty hot. He's been scoring with regularity lately.
15-13, the time of the goal by Mike Huff. And they're filling the net up now. Number 9 on the year for Huff.
It's his 6th goal in the last 11 games.
Morin and Lafleur, the assist on the goal by Huff, is 9th of the year.
See Lafleur, you can read his lips. He said 2 goals, 2 goals. 6-4.
Peterson with Sakic. Face off one. Gusarov. Alexei Gusarov giving the puck over to the far side to Velishek. Now to Gusarov. 6-4 the score. Penguins lead here in the 3rd. And it's bounced back to center circle. Larry Murphy of the Penguins flips that one back into the Nordiques end. And Gusarov back to handle it from Ron Tugnar.
Why isn't it Gusarov like Makarov?
I don't know. Ask him.
You can never predict what the correct pronunciation will be of these guys.
All right, we'll call him Alexei. And there's Alexei stepping to center. Long shot on Young, and he makes that stop with his glove. Penguins led 4-1 going to the 3rd, and now a 6-4 hockey game. It's really opened up here in the 3rd period, even more so. You go back and look that it was 1-1 at the end of the 1st period. Sundin now trying to carry the mail. Shoots it off the boards, left side. The Nordiques can't handle it. Huff was there, but he had it checked back into the Nordiques end. Gusarov again back to handle the puck with 3:40 to go in the 3rd period. Get that bright kind of pink stick does Gusarov. And he has to the right wing. Sundin trying to pull it around Kevin Stevens, unable to make that play, and the Penguins just shoot it off the sideboards back to the neutral zone. And the Nordiques trying to step back into Penguin real estate. Cullen breaks up the play. Shoots it off the boards and gets his own pass back. Cullen to the Penguins to Scott Young. He's into the Nordiques end. Drop pass over to Kevin Stevens. Wristed towards the net. Session can't get it out, and Scott Young challenged by Guy Lafleur. Poked away to the left point to Zalapski. Firing right up the right shoulder area of Tugnar, but wide of the net. And Nordiques tap it ahead to center, and here's Lafleur back on the right wing. Lafleur shooting one that'll be way wide of the goal. And then hopped off the wood all the way back to center ice. 2:50 to go in the 3rd period. Penguins lead 6-4. Finn through traffic coming down deep. They're going to the left wing corner. The Nordiques sending people in now in an effort to try and get back into the game. They're down by a pair. But the Penguins shoot it ahead and again back to the Nordiques line. Gillis will work it back for Craig Wolanin. Wolanin delivers it to Paul Gillis. Gillis with a cross ring pass to Sean Anderson. Anderson scooting quickly to the Penguins in. Tandy's all over him. Goes to Sundin. A shot score! Wow. 6-5. Matt Sundin from 45. And the Nordiques are back within 1 with 2:23 to go. $17:37 the time of the goal by Matt Sundin. He just got all of it and just blasted it by Wendell Young, who went down on the play. And Sundin cashes in. The Nordiques have scored after the Penguins led 6-2. They've scored the last 3 goals. 14:32 in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Sundin is 14. And would Bob Johnson call a timeout right now? Barry Smith talking to him. It's a 6-5 hockey game with 2:23 left.
Then went through the 5-hole again, Mike. I think about half of the goals here tonight against Wendell Young. Well, there's 5. So 2 or 3 of the goals have gone through his legs.
Lead pass now to the Nordiques end. It'll be Sundin getting his 14th, I believe, of the year. That's it. Lemieux now put it in front and went right by a man. Coming to Bob Air. He's there. He shoots it, and that missed the mark. Taglianetti on the right wing boards with 2:05 to go. Shooter behind the net. Lemieux did not take the pass. And Wolanin spin it around the horn. After it, Sean Anderson. He'll get it over to the left wing side of McKegney. Sundin going for the puck. Lemieux is on him. Anderson poking up the boards back to center. Taglianetti without a stick. Kick to the head of Lemieux. Mario looking for Recchi, and Recchi trying to drag it into the Nordiques end. Can't do it. Cagney runs into Recchi, and the Nordiques step back to the Penguins end. Sakic, minute 35 to go. When will Tugnutt come off? Young getting the puck over to Larry Murphy around the boards. It will come to Bob Airy. Airy's pass to Recchi, and he is hit. Shoot it back to the Nordiques blue line. Kucherov finding Sakic, man open left wing. Here's Huff, slap shot, and that stop is going to be called back on an offside play. So we're going to take you right down to the wire. The Penguins lead 6-5 here in Quebec. I'll tell you, we make them interesting, don't we? We'll return in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network. Matt Sundin scoring with 2:23 to go in regulation time to get the Nordiques back within one. Anderson and Murray with the assist on that goal. And here we go. Gillen, Tandy, and Bob Airy out for the Penguins here. Minute 21 to go. The Penguins control the draw, and they slip it ahead to the Nordiques zone. John Anderson is back. We told you the Nordiques have a lot of ties at home this year. They're trying to creep back into it. They trailed 6-2 here in the third. And Rolanen's pass up the alley. It goes to Lafleur. He's been the hot player here in the third. Guy Lafleur cutting across into the Penguins end. The Nordiques are offside with 55 seconds to go in regulation time. And Lafleur's got a little of that magic back that he had from the younger days when the Montreal Canadiens were such powerhouses. Tugnutt to come off on that rush. And they'll go back in now with the face-off at the Penguin line. Let's see what they'll put on the ice right now. Sakic, Puff, Lafleur. They've been the hot players. Rolanen and Anderson. Now a timeout is called. We'll take a quick timeout ourselves. We'll return in a moment. 6-5. The Penguins lead on the Penguins Hockey Network. Cast is presented by the Pittsburgh Penguins, intended solely for the private use of our viewing audience, and any rebroadcast or transmission, it should be retransmission of this telecast or any of the use of the descriptions, the pictures, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Penguins and the Civic Arena Corporation is strictly prohibited. All right, the Nordiques call timeout. They're ready to go once again here. Penguins' last road game, they watched the Toronto Maple Leafs storm back and tie them and then win it in overtime. 6-5 was the score, and it's 6-5 right now. Gillen out for the Pens, lost the draw, and Lafleur turns it in, and Tugnutt comes off now to the bench. The extra man on will be Matt Sundin. Penguins scored away, though, and it comes back towards the Nordiques end. Rolanen chases. Gillen's after him, a lead pass to center. The extra attacker is on, 40 seconds left. Mike Huff to the right wing, and Airy steps into him and shoulders him hard. Loose puck around to the left wing corner. Penguins in. Centered out. Airy's after it. It came off his stick, and it goes all the way to center ice. The Nordiques' John Anderson directs it back into the Penguins end. 25 to go. Taglianetti around the boards. Can Bob Airy get over? Lafleur went there, too. Still a loose puck. The Nordiques have it. They put it in the corner to Sakic. Look out here. Sakic being pressured by Gillen. Sakic now turns, and he had a poke checked away by Phil Bourque. Back in behind the Penguin net. 12 seconds to go. Huff now giving the puck to Sundin. He tries to set up Lafleur. He can't do it. 7 to go. Off the corner. The Nordiques have it around the net. Sakic trying to get it to Lafleur. 3 in behind the net. They'll never score. It'll be over. They shoot it, but it's over. It's over. The horn sounds here, and the Penguins have held on to defeat the Quebec Nordiques. And a wild one to say the least here in Quebec City. Bob Johnson won't change ties, but he got a couple more gray hairs tonight as Wendell Young keeps the Nordiques off the board in the final moments of play. So the Penguins win here in Quebec. They're 2-0 against Quebec this year, and we'll return in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network. Yeah, the Nordiques 6-5 here tonight. They held on as the Nordiques were down 6-2 and scored 3 straight. The shots in the final period 10-5 in favor of the Nordiques. Mario Lemieux returned to the lineup tonight for the Penguins. Had a 3-point night. He was the #1 star in the game. And Lemieux #1, Moran #2 for the Nordiques, and John Cullen #3. But Mario with 3 assists here tonight to pace the way for the Penguins. The game summary as we look at it. Lemieux with 3 points back in his first game. Paul Coffey with a goal and 2 assists. Moran with 3 assists to lead the way for the Nordiques, but Guy Lafleur also played well, and the Penguins convert 2 of 4 power plays. By the way, the game coming up for the Penguins, they win tonight. They are now 27-21-3, 1 point behind the Flyers, who were losing to Hartford in the third period, 4-2. Reminder to you, on Tuesday, the Penguins will meet the Washington Capitals, and our broadcast time on our Penguin Radio Network will begin at 7:20. Are we on the TV side on that, gentlemen? On the KBL Sports Network on Tuesday also. Final score again here tonight. The Penguins defeat the Quebec Nordiques. Pittsburgh 6 and the Nordiques 5. And now for Paul Steigerwald, this is Mike Lang saying so long, and this is the Penguins Hockey Network.
Great gift ideas from Genesis Video Productions, official NHL pucks of your favorite team and player. Or how about the famous Little Rat keychain in either the skater or the goalie version? Soft sculptured wall art of your favorite NHL team, quilted material packaged and ready to hang. How about a battery-operated bank? Just put down the coin and watch the skater shoot it into the net and into the base of the bank for safekeeping. Great for kids and adults. How about some handsomely designed canvas and wood chairs with your favorite NHL team logo? They're strong, they're durable, and they're ready for the game. How about for on your car? Your favorite NHL team license plate or license plate frame. Beautiful NHL lamps with your favorite team logo on the shade and Stanley Cup base. And you know about our famous